Isaiah Ford to the receiver-needy Patriots for a 2022 seventh-round pick. First trade between the AFC East rivals since Miami sent Wes Welker to New England in 2007. Cowboys quarterback Andy Dalton on the reserve COVID-19 list. He's out Sunday against the Steelers. Antonio Brown officially a part of the Buccaneers roster today as his 8-game suspension's over. He's eligible to practice this week and play in a pivotal game Sunday night versus the Saints. The receivers edition should put Tampa in the Super Bowl, believes ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
This team is loaded to bear, and it puts them in that Kansas City Chiefs category with offensive weaponry that we don't talk about with very many teams. This team is loaded, and you give that with the protection. The offensive line's done a pretty good job into the season. I think this is the one for the NFC.
Saturday's Wisconsin-Purdue game's been canceled because of Wisconsin's COVID-19 outbreak. Game won't be rescheduled. With 2 canceled games already, Wisconsin's on the brink of not being able to compete in the Big Ten championship game. Currently, in order to compete, a team must play at least 6 games.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Hope your Tuesday is going swimmingly. NFL trade deadline has come and gone. Larry Holder 1 hour from right now, bumping back just a little bit. Lee Feinswag next hour. Rohan Davey in hour 3. Ton to get to. So trade deadline has come and gone, and no really significant moves across the NFL. The Saints were active on Monday, as we know, adding linebacker Kwon Alexander, which they have now confirmed. The Saints have confirmed the addition of Kwon Alexander via trade. So Kwon, the former LSU linebacker who was drafted in 2015 in the 4th round by Tampa Bay, last year signed a $54 million contract with the 49ers, played just a season and a half with San Fran. But Kwon Alexander now is officially a member of the New Orleans Saints. The Saints tweeted it out. Kwon tweeted who dat earlier today as well. So this is we talked about it a bit yesterday. Now that it's official and we've heard Sean Payton talk about it, we'll go a little deeper dive. Here was Sean Payton talking about the Kwon Alexander trade.
We made a trade today with San Francisco that will involve Kiko Alonso on our end and a conditional 5th based on playing time. We've had a chance, obviously, to see this player in our division. We see him as a will coming in, competing over there with Alex, with DeMario obviously playing more of the Mike role. Yeah, it was something that we worked on for a little bit here, and fortunately we were able to work out the details with San Fran.
So the 49ers, for what it's worth, and their GM John Lynch did issue this statement. Kwon's time with our team might not have been long, but it was very impactful. A tremendous teammate. His nonstop motor, ferocious play, and selfless nature help establish a standard for our locker room that will carry on. On behalf of the entire organization, I want to wish Kwon all the best and thank him for all of his contributions to our team. So the 49ers thank Kwon Alexander, but he is officially now a member of the New Orleans Saints. And I love this move for a lot of reasons, some of which we talked about when we first got word of this, which is you got to be all in, okay? If you're New Orleans, you understand that this is it for the Peyton Breeze era. Drew's retiring after this season. I think we all know it. It was a long shot for him to come back this year. You've got to be all in. And whatever that means, mortgaging whatever part of the future you have to, you do it to win a Super Bowl now. Go ask Denver. They won Super Bowl 50 with Peyton Manning. They put together that dream team where they had Aqib Talib and DeMarcus Ware and all those guys. And, they won a Super Bowl. And they've stunk ever since. Do you think anybody there cares? I mean, of course you'd like to win, but if you ask anybody in that organization, was it worth it to bring on Peyton Manning for a short-term gain, they'd all say yes. Miami Heat did this, 05-06 with Shaq, when they brought Shaq in and they got their title, and then they were really bad for a while after that, and then LeBron went there, and we all know what happened after that. But nonetheless, the point is, you sacrifice the long-term for a short-term benefit, and you do that when you have to think short-term, which the Saints are an organization right now that need to be thinking short-term, and Kwon Alexander makes you better. He comes in at a position of need. Obviously, when you think about the struggles that New Orleans has had in covering guys like Darren Waller and tight ends, and when you look at your division and Gronkowski's there and Cameron Brate's there, the game you're going to play this week. Look, mention Tampa. You want to talk about a team that's all in. They went and got Leonard Fournette. They went and got Antonio Brown. They're taking short-term risks right now to win right now with a 43-year-old quarterback. And the Saints need to do the same exact thing. Financially, this move is okay, which we talked about yesterday when we went through the deal. It's going to cost the Saints about $1 million this year. Kwon's on the hook next year for over $13 million, but you can cut him, and then he's none of that's guaranteed. So it's wiped away. So theoretically, you could cut him and sign him to a new deal next year, and it becomes more team or cap friendly. So you can worry about that in the future, and what you gave up to get him is agreeable. Kiko Alonso had not played for you this year, a conditional fifth-round pick based on playing time. That's all okay when you look at this in total. I think with Kwon Alexander specifically, I love his versatility and his production. He's in his 6th NFL season, and when he has been on the field, he has been very good. His best season was his second year in Tampa back in 2016. Played in 16 games, 145 tackles, 3 sacks, 7 passes defended, a forced fumble, an interception, scored a touchdown, had 10 run stuffs. He filled up the stat sheet. The one knock on Kwon Alexander is the same knock on Kwon Alexander when he was at LSU. It's, can he stay healthy? If you remember, Kwon played a lot as a true freshman in 2012, and then he broke his ankle against Florida. And then in 2013, he started just 9 games, and then in 2014, he started 12 games. In his NFL career, here's Kwon Alexander's games played. 12, 16, 12, 6, 8, and 5 this year. He's missed the last 3 with an ankle injury. I don't think the Saints do this deal if they didn't have assurances or didn't go through the physical process to make sure that Kwon Alexander was healthy enough to be able to make an impact on this team right away and for the remainder of this season. So if you can keep Kwon Alexander healthy, that is a massive addition at a position of need on a defense that needs reinforcements right now. I am just very hopeful that Kwon can stay healthy, because if he's healthy, if he can revert to the form that he had in 2016 when he played that full season in Tampa, or even the last 2 years when he's been healthy in San Francisco, he has been a phenomenal linebacker, and I think he can continue to be that. Sean Payton did also talk when he met with the media about what Kwon Alexander adds to this team.
It's adding another player we think fits what we were doing. Really, it's more about that. It also, gives us another athletic player at that position that can run. And now there's an onboarding process relative to coming here, and that'll begin tomorrow.
So that tomorrow would be today, on Tuesday, with the Saints starting work and preparations for Sunday Night Football against Tampa. Of course, the Bucs escaped on Monday Night Football with the Giants, a controversial 2-point conversion call with the flag being thrown, then picked up. The Bucs go on the road and beat the Giants by 2. That classic sort of look-ahead spot for Tampa, but still, now they have a short week. They had to go on the road to Monday Night Football. Now they got to come back home, short week for the Saints coming in. And I mentioned Kwon as far as his ability to cover, and that's what I think he's really going to add to this defense. He's physical enough to stuff the run. He's athletic enough to rush the passer, and he can also cover backs and tight ends. Here was Sean Payton talking about Kwon in the coverage part of the game.
Well, he does a lot of things well. He's smart. He's instinctive. He's a run and hit player that has very good speed and instincts. No, I wouldn't just say that. I think he's very good in coverage, but he's also very good in defending the run game.
When he's healthy, again, he is a versatile, talented, all-around linebacker. We saw that at LSU, and hopefully we get to see it in New Orleans here soon. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Tuesday shows are brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Normally we talk to Larry Holder in hour one, but Larry's got like a fence guy coming out to the house. I'm dead serious. So we'll talk to Larry in the start of hour two at 4 o'clock Central. So top of hour two, we'll talk to Larry Holder, Lee next hour as well. And coming up here in about 30 minutes, we're going to talk to Jennifer Doty. She's Kay Doty's mom on the LSU baseball team. And Paul Maneri met with the media earlier today via Zoom, and I know most people aren't thinking baseball right now, but some in the mind are thinking, okay, what about the spring sports? LSU's baseball parents did an amazing thing, like in totality with all SEC baseball parents. Wait until you hear this. That's coming up in about 30 minutes from right now. Glad you're here. Tuesday edition of AFR. When we come back, we'll switch from black and gold to purple and gold. We did talk a good bit yesterday about what Ed Orgeron had to say looking back about the Auburn loss. Now I want to talk about what Ed Orgeron said looking forward, not only in this bye week, but with Alabama on the horizon. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in, carry out. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. I know for most people tonight, you're going to be watching election coverage. Okay. Remember, Tuesday, kids eat free. So if you want to get out of the house, give yourself a little bit of a break, get by Pluckers. Parents pay for your meals, your kids eat for free. Nicholson, just south of campus, Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Now, maybe you're someone who could not care less about what's going to transpire tonight politically. You want an escape? Get to Pluckers. Eat wings, drink beer, watch sports on TV. And you might say, well, Matt, there's no football tonight. We got some action tonight. I'm not missing. We got action tonight, yeah? Oh, my God, I got to check. Do we have action tonight? I'm almost positive we have action tonight. Do we? I don't know. I'll check. Pluckers, you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a 2020 Camry LE with 0% for 6 years or for $22,890. Hurry in. They won't last long. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. Buy a new one for less than a used one. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yeah, well, I go jog every day, so I enjoy my jog. I'm sure the players get out, and I think the open date tomorrow they have the day off. I think that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will give everybody a time to reflect, maybe restart, press the restart button. And I know our guys by next Monday are going to be fired up to play Alabama, so I'm not worried about motivation. I think this team's going to stay together. I'm not worried about dissension at all. This coaching staff's together. I feel positive about what's going on.
Ed Orgeron Monday when he met with the media. One of my favorite sayings is actions speak louder than words. And Ed had a very matter-of-fact way about him yesterday. And I think that was by design, to not be panicked or frustrated or to show any of that publicly, which I can certainly understand the need to be poised and controlled and all of those things in that setting coming off the loss from Saturday. But I also think that it's a bit disingenuous if that's because I don't believe that's exactly how he feels. There has to be more urgency after what happened on Saturday, and I think there has to be concern about dissension and what might be crumbling. This isn't a fabricated storyline. I think when you're sitting there at 2-3, you suffered the worst loss the program's had since 1996. The losses you've had have all been historic in nature for some reason or another. It's not just struggling to get through some growing pains. It's historic lows that you have to be concerned about the root cause of those issues when you have more talent than that. I'm not sitting here telling you I think there's dissension on the team or anything like that, but I think it's possible that if you go out a week from Saturday and you get the doors blown off you by Alabama, that things could very well unravel. We always worried about that, right? Remember when Les was the coach, this was an annual talking point, was when you lose to Alabama and you put so much into that game, LSU so often faltered after that game throughout November. And that hasn't been the case with Ed. Even when LSU lost to Bama in 2017 and 2018, or 2016 as well, with him as the interim head coach, they came back the next week and played very well. So I will be curious. Okay, I'll tell you right now, if you're gonna be here a week from Friday expecting me to pick LSU to beat Alabama, don't come, because I'm not. This isn't going to surprise anybody. LSU's going to be a 3-touchdown underdog against Alabama, and I'd lay the points. But how they respond after that inevitability will be interesting, and how they play in that game, because there have been very outmanned LSU teams that on paper looked very outmanned in that ball game that played well. 2008, LSU, of course, lost Bo Pelini to Nebraska after the 2007 championship. 2008, Les Miles hires Doug Mallory, Bradley Dale Pivito. That was a terrible defensive team. They allowed 50 points twice that season, to Georgia and to Florida, and they had number 1 Alabama come in, and you remember that game went to overtime. I mean, LSU played up. They played their best game of the season. Crowd had a lot to do with it as well. It was emotional. I mean, you can look through the years and see those instances. In 2012, that Alabama team was number 1 in the country, and if you remember, the Chiefs were the worst team in the NFL that year. They ended up drafting Eric Fisher, if I'm not mistaken. And there were people like odds makers who were putting like theoretical point spreads out if Alabama played the Kansas City Chiefs. And LSU, of course, had that game won until the Yeldon play. I don't need to remind you, but you know what I mean. There have been those moments. 2014 was Les's worst team. And they took that Alabama team, had the game won, blew it in overtime. Blew it on the last drive, and then obviously it went to overtime and Bama won it. So my point is LSU's played up in this game in the past. So I will be very interested to see if all that Ed said there about there not being dissension and the attitude's good and the mood's good and all that on the team, like, let's see if you can go play up, elevate your game against this Alabama team. Now, one big question obviously will be what happens at quarterback a week from Saturday. Here was Ed Orgeron yesterday giving an update on Miles Brennan.
We're going to throw the ball with him a little bit today. He's going to try to get into the offense, see what he can do. He's not ready yet. It's day by day, and I don't know if he's going to be ready for the Alabama game. I think we'll know a little bit more next week. We're going to try to let him do a couple of things today, see how he can do it.
Okay, so Miles Brennan threw a little bit on Monday. No word yet how that went. Obviously, they have the day off today. That's NCAA mandated for Election Day, that all programs are off today so players can go vote, etc. So here was Orgeron following up a little more about how Brennan's handled being out now for 3 weeks.
He's been great, but, he wants to play. I mean, there's no question he's frustrated. He did everything he can do with Jack. He's doing all the studying. He's been around. Those guys love him. They like brothers. He's been fantastic.
So there's a very obvious follow-up, though. And Ed Orgeron has effectively answered this. If Miles Brennan's healthy, he's going to start. Now, we've been over that. You know how I feel about it. I would roll with TJ Finley. A lot of people will point to the game Finley had against Auburn, and he didn't play well. My contention, I'm not defending it, but my contention is nobody would have played well. He was sacked 4 times. There were 5 quarterback hurries. There were 7 tackles for loss. I mean, it was just LSU averaged 1.2 yards per carry. The offensive line got obliterated. It wouldn't have mattered who played quarterback in that game. If it was Finley or Brennan, and I think we'd be having the same conversation. I look at it more from the standpoint of, are you playing for the now or for the future? And I think you have one guy that's got an obvious ceiling. You play that guy. It's clear Ed is not going to go that way. We actually saw this in 2017. Do you remember we were having the same conversation in 2017 about Danny Etling and Miles Brennan? I mean, when things were not going well in 2017, there was this very real conversation about, do you play the kid for the remainder of the year? You punt this season after you've blown out by Mississippi State, you lose to Troy. It's like, roll with the kid. And Ed knew then, and I'll grant you the program is at a different point, Ed was under a lot of legitimate pressure in 2017 because there were a lot of people, I'm not just talking about talking heads like me, I'm talking about people internally, money people, boosters, who did not approve of the hire and wanted to buy him out after year 1. And he needed wins. And so I think that's why I played Etling, because Etling gave him the most chance to be stable, limit mistakes, and win games in 2017, even though that wasn't the best idea maybe long term. So I think Ed might, while clearly he's not in any jeopardy, I think that's his approach. He's going to play and not think for the long term. I think he's going to think for the now. And that's, I think, why he would ride with Brennan, although I would remain to see if that would actually make a difference. But we know that's what he's going to do. When Brennan's healthy, Brennan's going to play. So how do you handle, though, what happens going into the Alabama game if Brennan isn't available?
We expected TJ to take another step, and obviously he didn't. He struggled. He's a freshman. I can't put that on him. And then, especially going on the road, it wasn't a hostile crowd, but it was different. And but if Miles can't practice, we're gonna see who's better, TJ or Max. Max went in there and did a fine job. So they're gonna compete. There's gonna be a competition. Hopefully Miles is ready. If not, I'm going to have them compete and see who practices better. Then we'll see what happens. If TJ would have played well, obviously he'd have had it locked up, but he didn't. And Max went in there and did a good job. So, yeah, it's open competition.
So, and you have to believe Ed at this point when he talks about open competition. He did it in 2018 with Joe Burrow and Justin McMillan and Brennan. And then he did it, of course, earlier this year when Brennan was injured with Max and with TJ. So, I believe him entirely when he says he'll go into next week with an open competition. I guess what I look at with this game in particular is, wouldn't you rather know? Wouldn't you rather know so you have 2 weeks to prepare for it? It's not to say that's fail-proof or it would even make a gigantic difference against this team in particular. But one thing we have seen with Alabama this year is that they have been vulnerable on defense. The teams have been able to gain yards and score points against that Alabama defense. A&M moved the ball for nearly 500 yards against them. Ole Miss moved the ball, put up yards and points against Alabama. There are plays to be had against that defense. And I think LSU's only shot really is to win a shootout. I don't think you can try to slow the game down because Bama will wear you out because they're better on the line of scrimmage and they have better backs. Like, that would happen. But if you play games and try to win it similar to how Missouri beat LSU, I really think that's LSU's shot. So how do you go out there and do it? One more from Ed when he met with the media on Monday. He did also talk a good bit about this today in his weekly interview on Off the Bench with Jordy and T-Bob, where he referenced building a championship program and, starting in 2017 and seeing the parallels, and he knew then that they were building. But here was Ed talking about that. Like, he knows he's building toward a championship.
In my mind, we building a championship program. We're going to be a championship team. We're going through some growing pains right now. I know it. We got some young players. We got some new coaches that have been on our staff for a short time, didn't have spring ball to put in their system. Not an excuse. This is the SEC, and the other coaches had the same amount of time. So, but I know this in my mind. We have a plan here. I know the people surrounding me are very supportive. We just had one of the best teams in college football last year. We're not that far away. We've got to get better coaches. We've got to get better players. And this is LSU, and we're going to do that.
It's hard to think you're not that far away when you just suffered your worst loss since 1996. The flip side of it is you do have a lot of talent, and you have a potential number one recruiting class coming in behind them. How do you bridge that gap between the talent that you have and the play on the field? And that's where you do wonder about things like culture and coaching and things like that. And I'm not telling you I have that answer. I told you yesterday what my feeling was. I was also very clear that I don't think Ed Orgeron is going to do what I'm suggesting, which is demote Bo Pelini or fire him outright and elevate Corey Raymond, because I think that would get the defense to play. But the biggest difference between then and now is in 2017, you had one very, very obvious and public clash between Ed Orgeron and Matt Canada. They even went public with the news that Ed and Matt and Joe Oliva all met. And then after that season was done, you parted ways. It doesn't seem like Ed's looking to part ways with Bo Pelini. And that could be the biggest difference between then and now. You got half a season to play. Let's see if this defense can improve. Maybe they can, but realistically, when I know you've still got Bama and A&M and Florida and Ole Miss still on the schedule, and an Arkansas team that, by the way, is actually scoring points and looks formidable, call me skeptical. I don't think defensively it's going to get any better before the end of this year. And that's going to have a very difficult decision to make, which should be an easy decision at the end of the season. We'll see if he'll make it. All right, it's after further review. When I got a quick break, we'll go around the SEC. Jennifer Doty, mother of Kay Doty on the LSU baseball team, and Braden Doty, as a matter of fact. She'll be with us in about 15 minutes. I know most people aren't focusing on SEC baseball right now, but fall ball is going on. And SEC baseball parents collectively have done an incredible thing I want to tell you about. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. And Larry Holder to start hour 2. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. All of their services, you can learn more about it all right there on the website at brgeneral.org. Remember, with COVID, a lot of people maybe aren't wanting or aren't able to get out of their house. Virtual visits are available. You just tap virtual visits right there at the top of the page, and you can learn more. Whatever type of treatment or care it is that you are seeking, they have it all, and all the services there available for you at brgeneral.org, and an easy-to-use and navigate website, a redesigned website as well. And I'll keep reminding you, Baton Rouge General Hospital is part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. They have the exclusivity. What that means is that your physician here at the Baton Rouge General has access to be able to collaborate with the specialists at the Mayo Clinic and has access to their world-renowned research at the Mayo Clinic at no extra cost to you. So you get advanced care at no extra cost. That's the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. and we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we are rolling along, and glad you are hanging out with us here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. We'll go around the SEC just in just a quick second here. If you remember when the Big Ten initially canceled their season, it was because of concerns over myocarditis. If you don't believe me, here's the headline from ESPN.com. Heart condition linked with COVID-19 fuels Power 5 concern about season's viability. That's the headline, what it read. They were basically concerned with myocarditis. That was the whole thing whenever they decided to cancel their season. Then a week ago, Ross Dellinger, late last week, had a piece up at SI.com where in talking with some of the foremost cardiovascular specialists in the country, talked about how myocarditis has been such a non-event with respect to athletes and those who have been infected with COVID, that they're actually suggesting that heart scans they're not even necessary. It's happening so infrequently, if at all, among athletes. Which is why we talked about it last week, obviously, with the Big Ten, because Wisconsin and Nebraska had their game canceled. because 6 players from Wisconsin had tested positive and they weren't going to get back on the field. And, of course, Wisconsin's quarterback was in that number as well. So we talked about the absurdity of it. And now it's happening again, this time in the ACC. So Trevor Lawrence is not going to play against Notre Dame this weekend. Lawrence contracted COVID-19. We know he will go through his 10-day isolation. By the way, he's asymptomatic. He's feeling great. Dabo Swinney said, quote, he's doing great. He's in the meetings via Zoom, all that stuff. He's anxious to get out, but there's no way to get him through in time to play. Because they're mandating cardiovascular tests designed to identify symptoms of myocarditis. And that would take several days to go through that battery of tests, and it would take you through Saturday. So Trevor Lawrence will be in South Bend. He will be on the sideline with his teammates. He's just not going to be able to play in the game on Saturday because he's got to go through these battery of tests for myocarditis, which the CV experts have all effectively said now is a complete non-factor or non-event. Swinney does expect Trevor Lawrence back at practice early next week and will play against Florida State. You know where I stand on all this. I mean, this isn't breaking news to anybody, but I'm just pointing this out to further underscore the absurdity of why things were done the way they were done when they were done and the hypocrisy now. Back then, they weren't looking for information. They were looking for affirmation. They were seeking out the medical opinion that was going to validate their decision. And now those same medical experts have done an about face and said, hey, look, we've done more research now. We know more about it. And myocarditis really isn't even a thing. So no worries. Like, I don't even think you need to do these tests. But the administrator is saying, oh, no, we're going to do the tests. Well, which is it? Are you trusting the medical experts who are telling, who were the basis of your initial cancellation? And now we're telling you, hey, there's no need to do that. But now you're not going to trust them? The hypocrisy and the agenda is so evident throughout all of this. I just hope that in pointing out things like this, those of you who have been hesitant to see it, those of you who need to see it and be aware of it, see it and are aware of it. All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Go around the SEC in just a quick second, but I love telling you about GMFS Mortgage because their slogan is changing lives, and they do that every single day. They change people's lives financially. gmfsmortgage.com, voted among the Baton Rouge Business Report's best places to work again in 2020. That's GMFS Mortgage because they got great loan officers, local loan officers there at GMFS Mortgage all over the state of Louisiana. So no matter where you are, if you think you might be able to save money by refinancing your mortgage, if your rate's above a 4, you better call. If your rate's above a 4, we've seen people lower their rate by 1.5 points, skip a mortgage payment or 2. Think about changing your life financially. If you could skip a couple of mortgage payments and save thousands of dollars over the course of your mortgage or the life of your mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss Rebels tight end DeMarcus Thomas has been discharged from the hospital after a hit he took in practice on Monday. Had to be airlifted to the hospital after suffering serious injury. Initially left him without feeling. Lane Kiffin was visibly shaken during his press conference after this happened, but apparently Thomas is doing well. He has been discharged from the hospital. He's an 18-year-old from Alabama. He's played in 5 games this year for Ole Miss, former 3-star prospect that signed with the Rebels over South Alabama, Southern Miss, and Tulane.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia safety Richard LeCounte provided a positive update. He tweeted, quote, all is well. Kirby Smart told reporters that LeCounte has been moved from the ICU to a normal hospital room. If you missed the story, LeCounte, the great safety from Georgia, All-American, was riding a dirt bike when he struck a car that was turning left into a gas station. LeCounte made contact with the first car and then was thrown into traffic where he was hit by a second car. He was wearing his helmet, which they think actually saved his life. LeCounte, obviously, is going to be out for this Saturday's game against Florida.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
It's now official. Mississippi State senior running back Kylan Hill has announced via social media that he's chosen to opt out of the remainder of the 2020 college football season to prepare for the 2021 NFL Draft. Hill played in just 3 games this season, and this had previously been reported. Hill has just now confirmed it via social media. Kylan Hill was suspended for the Texas A&M game and then was unavailable for last week's game against Alabama. Hill led the SEC in rushing just the season ago with 1,350 yards.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy coach Derek Mason confirmed starting defensive back Donovan Kaufman out for the season with what he described as a medical-related issue. Kaufman's a true freshman. He played safety and nickel this season. He's a New Orleans native, a 3-star from Archbishop Rummel, signed with Vanderbilt over Ole Miss and Florida State. It was a big recruiting win for Derek Mason. Did not play against South Carolina October the 10th or against Ole Miss on this past Saturday. Mason did say, however, that Kaufman is expected to return next season.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn basketball will host Troy at Auburn Arena December the 19th. Be the first meeting between the Tigers and the Trojans on the hardwood since 2009. That happens to be when Troy registered its first win in series history. Auburn's full schedule not yet revealed, although we do know Auburn will open up the season in Fort Myers, Florida against St. Joe's November 25th, and then 2 days later will play Gonzaga in the same event. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. Online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com. If you are a business owner and you need to stay more efficient, you need Gulf Coast Office Products. Remember, Gulf Coast Office Products also has that interactive whiteboard I've been telling you about. This is affordable for any size business. And when I say any size business, I literally mean any size business. If you're 2 employees or 2,000 employees or 2 million employees, interactive whiteboard is affordable for any size business. Learn more about it at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products with warehouses in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and Mandeville. So wherever you are in South Louisiana, they can get to you quickly at Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, so after further review, glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Tuesday edition. Larry Holder is going to join us in 18 minutes from right now. I want to get Larry's thoughts, obviously, on the Kwon Alexander trade and the Saints heading down to Tampa this weekend to take on the Bucs. We'll get into all that with Larry, where the Saints stand right now in a 4-game winning streak. Feinswag next hour, Rohan Davey in hour number 3. We'll certainly assess TJ Finley's day and the offense as a whole, and then what they do in this bye headed toward the Alabama game. So Rohan will be with us in hour 3 as he is every Tuesday here on AFR. All right, let me knock out a quick break, y'all. When we come back, LSU is going through fall baseball right now. And Paul Maneri did actually meet with the media earlier today via Zoom. So we'll let you hear some of what the coach had to say about his team. But I also want to bring on Jennifer Doty, who's the mother of 2 LSU baseball players currently. The LSU parents collectively did an amazing thing in unifying the collective voice of all the SEC baseball parents to ensure there's a season this year. Wait until you hear this. That's coming up next on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Carriages in Bocage, carriagesbr.com, carriagesbr.com. All right, y'all. Martin Dingman Fall Trunk Show is coming up this Friday, November the 6th, this Friday at Carriages in Bocage. Remember, whenever the Martin Dingman Trunk Show comes to town, every pair of shoes purchased will come with a complimentary belt. Check it out. Details at carriagesbr.com or on their Instagram page. The Martin Dingman rep will be in town at Carriages this Friday. You can call ahead to schedule your appointment or just go in and meet the rep. Amazing one-day-only trunk show specials this Friday at Carriages in Bocage. So if you've been putting it off, waiting to upgrade your fall wardrobe, this Friday, the Martin Dingman Trunk Show, again, at Carriages in Bocage all day long. You know where they are in the courtyard in Bocage Village. Tell them Matt sent you in to Carriages in Bocage.
What do Honda lovers look forward to this time of year? Aside from family, turkey, and pie, happy Honda Days at Richards Honda. It's that time of year when everything is at clearance prices. And since we're stocked up on inventory, you'll have plenty to choose from. Over 700 in stock at transparent prices. Happy Honda Days makes happy customers. Come see why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It's been really a really good fall practice. One of the best we've had since I've been here in terms of being able to see your personnel, get a lot of answers done, and feel good about your team going into the spring. So I think we're going to be a team to be reckoned with.
Paul Mainieri meeting with the media via Zoom earlier today about his team and what we all hope is a full college baseball season, of course, cut short because of COVID this past March and was not resumed. And parents of SEC baseball players are doing their part to try to make sure that SEC baseball in the fall of 2021, the spring of 2021, doesn't go the route of Big Ten, where they cancel and then needed a frenetic push to get the game brought back. Jennifer Doty, whose sons Cade and Braden Doty are both part of the LSU baseball team, sent me via email yesterday a letter that was sent collectively by the baseball parents of the SEC to the SEC Commissioner's Office. And Jennifer Doty joins us now on AFR to talk about this. Jennifer, thanks for the time. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Okay, so you wrote this letter to Greg Sankey. Tell us about the genesis of it and what the content of the letter is.
So the letter started as, really, you mentioned the Big Ten, looking at the Big Ten, how they canceled, and the parents went crazy on them. And then they reinstated, which I don't know if the parents were the main cause of that, but I think they had a part to play. Mm-hmm. So I thought, you know what, we're sitting here just waiting. So how about we get our parents, it started out to just be the LSU team. We'll write a letter, we'll send it to everybody, and I'll reach out to other teams and see, hey, you might want to do this too. So reached out to some friends we have at Vanderbilt. Their son's a pitcher there. And they said, hey, we need to get all the SEC teams together instead of just doing it school by school. So that was how it began.
So you wrote the letter. It was your idea initially?
It was.
Okay.
It was.
So I'm looking at the letter here, which you sent me, and it's addressed to Commissioner Sankey. I'm not going to read the letter in total, but for our audience, could you just share for them what your intention was in the letter?
So it basically states that we understand the risks of COVID. We know it's real. We also know that our boys are at extremely low risk of having any complications with COVID, that we are not scared of our boys playing, that our boys have worked hard. They had to sacrifice their season last year. We've got boys that have sacrificed the draft. We've got boys that, have extended their college career to have the chance to play, and they deserve a season, and we 100% believe that. So, we never would expect, we know the SEC is fighting hard for us to play. Like, we absolutely believe that. They proved that in football, but it was kind of a preemptive strike. If in January somebody has the idea, maybe we shouldn't play, I kind of wanted it to be out there to say, we're going to have a lot of mad mamas. Yeah. Ain't dads, but mamas.
All right, so the letter is what I think what everyone would expect. Basically, you conveying the intention that you want there to be a season.
Right.
But the thing that is most eye-catching, and when I read it, is I scrolled and I saw the LSU baseball. It's in bold, the LSU baseball family, and then it's the names of the parents. But as you start scrolling, it's not just the LSU baseball parents. It is, by the way, it's 13 schools. It looks like every parent from 13 schools. What school is left out, by the way?
Georgia.
What's up? What's going on in Athens? What the hell's wrong with them?
Okay, so this was a grassroots, parent-led project, right? So we worked our connections the way our boys play summer ball and have so many connections with different teams. We worked those connections as hard as we could. One mom, an Ole Miss mom that I was working really closely with, actually spoke to the Georgia coach, and he was all for it. But, of course, it's not about him. So he was going to give us parents, which he did, and we reached out to 6 or 8 parents, and nobody was interested. Like, not really that they didn't agree with the letter. Nobody was interested in participating. So we tried our best. I don't know. I don't understand. But
whatever. Georgia stinks. Screw them. Let's kick them out of the SEC.
Okay, we better kick their butts. That's all. The 12 other teams, it's been amazing. So we found a team mom for each team. Some teams had their teams already, like a way to communicate with them. Some didn't. The parents that are missing from the letter, I would think the majority of them, I know there were some freshmen that some team moms just couldn't find the information for. We did this in about a week. So,
wow. I was going to ask the time frame.
Yeah, it was start to finish about a week. And we have a group me now that has the 13 SEC team moms. We are locked and loaded.
How many total, Jennifer? How many total parents are on this letter?
457 families.
457 families. It's a 15-page document. The letter is about a half a page. So
I love it.
Well, that's the thing that's overwhelming. And I'm scrolling for those watching on CST or watching us on YouTube. They can see you just see a page after page. There's page 11. We still got 4 pages to go as I scroll through this thing. So,
I know.
So the response I would imagine is it more than you had anticipated?
I could have never. Well, okay, we have 100% of our LSU families, and I completely expected that. Mm-hmm. And really would have expected any parent. Once your kid is playing SEC baseball, I can't imagine anybody really feeling much different than I do, really.
Right.
So I'm very pleasantly surprised. I cannot believe that we got 13 SEC schools to participate the way that they did. And I can't believe it's 15 pages. Like, I'm just so excited about it.
We got about a minute. Have you, and I got a hard break, so I apologize, but have you gotten a response from the league?
I have not. I have heard from multiple coaches, like through their parents. Everybody is very excited and happy that the parents did this. So I have not heard anything back from the SEC, though.
All right. I'll shoot Sankey a note. Be like, hey, man, what are you doing here?
What's up? That's right.
Like, at least have the courtesy to reply to these. We have 450 parents.
Exactly.
Reply to these people. What are you doing, Sankey?
And we're waiting. So.
All right, I'm on it. I'll shoot Sankey a note. Make sure he's aware.
Awesome.
Jennifer Doty, mother of Caden, Braden Doty. What an awesome effort to put together in a week. It's incredible. Kudos to you.
Thanks.
We'll stay in touch, okay?
Okay, sounds great. Thanks.
Thank you. That is Jennifer Doty, a week. I'll tweet out the link because I posted the letter at 1045ESPN.com. I'll tweet it out so you can see it. All right, it's after further review. Muso's in for the brain. Larry Holder joins us coming up right after SportsCenter. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. SportsCenter coming right your way.
AFR.
I got a really cool tweet earlier today. Scrolling through Twitter, and I got a tweet earlier this morning from a guy named Matt who said, hey, man, just want to let you know, called Dr. Blake Williamson, got my LASIK set up over at the Williamson Eye Center. And here it is. Matt Chasson is his name. Found the tweet. At Matt Chasson 334 if y'all want to go give him a follow and see it. He said, I just scheduled LASIK with Dr. Blake at Williamson Eye Center. I told him you referred me. Matt, I'm telling you, man, I replied to him. I said, I hope it is as life-changing for you as it has been for me. It's not every day that you can do something that does change your life, but when you can't see, when you are dependent on contacts or glasses and you go through all of that, it's life-altering when all of a sudden you can see. And anyone that has refractive issues, you understand what I'm talking about. And I'm here to tell you, I walked in your shoes, and now I can see, thanks to LASIK at the Williamson Eye Center. Don't wait another day. Give them a call. 924-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a 2020 Highlander for $4,500 off MSRP. That's right, $4,500 off MSRP. Hurry in, they won't last long. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and Mathern's grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At GMFS Mortgage, thanks to you, we've been changing lives for over 21 years. So far this year, that includes providing thousands of meals for the homeless, donating and helping raise $125,000 for the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, feeding hundreds of police officers during the stay-at-home order, and feeding local nursing homes. So if you're ready to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, choose a local lender that's changing lives in our community. Choose GMFS Mortgage today.
GMFS, changing lives.
Callahan Injury Lawyer.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Saturday's Wisconsin-Purdue game has been canceled because of Wisconsin's COVID-19 outbreak. It won't be rescheduled. With 2 canceled games already, Wisconsin's on the brink of not being able to compete in the Big Ten title game. Currently, in order to compete, a team must play at least 6 games. The Badgers have 6 games left. Cowboys quarterback Andy Dalton on the reserve COVID-19 list. He's out Sunday against the Steelers. 2 more turnovers for Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, and the loss to the Buccaneers has not changed his status. Coach Joe Judge says the team remains committed to Jones as their QB. New York does have the right quarterback, but he's got no talent to work with, points out our Keyshawn Johnson.
I don't see him as a Aaron Rodgers type, no. Or a Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes, no, not at all. But a serviceable guy that can play a very long time in the National Football League and win a hell of a lot of games. He's still relatively young in his career.
Keyshawn of Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. On this NFL trade deadline day, pretty quiet. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Dolphins traded Isaiah Ford to the receiver-needy Patriots for a 2022 7th-round pick.
Church's new chicken sandwich is finally here. With almost 70 years in the kitchen, you can bet we put the work in to make it worth it. It's everything you love about Church's between 2 buns. Get it today, just $3.99. Thanks for waiting. Church's, bringing that down-home flavor.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Can you so? And Mr. Toby Tomplett. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Larry Holder typically joins us in hour 1, but he had a fence guy coming out to his house. Honest to goodness, true story. So now he joins us now as opposed to earlier. Thanks, Larry. How are you?
I'm good. Zeta costing me money. That's all that really matters.
Oh, sorry to hear
right
that.
now.
Sorry, man. Sorry to hear that.
Could be worse.
Yeah,
Could
you're
be a
right.
lot worse.
It could be. Hey, I was looking at your Twitter, and you tweeted a piece from a 1934 AP story with the Michigan-Ohio State game. The pregame dope gave Ohio every edge, the Bucs having won 5 of their previous 6 games, while the Wolves had lost 5 and won 1. But the fans would not believe that victory was Ohio's until the last shot was fired. Are there drug and gun references in that story, Larry?
Look, let me tell you, I'm doing a piece for The Athletic right now, and why would I be researching the 1934 Michigan Wolverines? Because they were not very good after winning a national championship.
I like it.
So so that's going to be coming out pretty soon, where I compare this LSU team to some of the historically bad teams after a national championship. And I went back and dug up some newspaper clips, and that was the last paragraph in that story. It didn't mention dope anywhere else. I just found it very curious that the AP just decided, let's just mention some dope and maybe some guns. And writing was definitely interesting, back in 1919 when writing about Princeton and Notre Dame or Yale and Harvard. A little different writing style than is happening right now.
I wonder if it was different, if dope had a different meaning then. And maybe the gun was how they signified the end of the game, I would assume. They would actually fire a gun, like in a race, right? They could shoot the gun to start the race.
Right. Well, there's also
the final gun
serious reference in a 1923 article about Princeton and Notre Dame. So maybe that's where the movie found their saying in that article.
You know what else? Auburn stunk in 2011, so you didn't have to go back to 1934. You could have just gone back 10 years.
Yes, but Auburn at least finished 8-5 and 4-4 in the SEC. I'm looking at teams who finished 500 or worse, and that's probably where we're looking at LSU right now. So I figured,
but Auburn did have the benefit of playing 13 games.
But that's why I said they went 4-4 in the SEC. Like LSU, they might have a losing record in their conference. So,
well, but they're playing 10 games.
You could argue too that some of their games in the SEC would be cupcake games typically, and they did not turn out that way.
That is very true. All right, so we'll be on the lookout for that. What was your reaction to the Saints signing Kwon Alexander?
I was a little surprised that they went linebacker, but not a ton, just because like Alex Anzalone really this year has just kind of been a guy, and Kwon Alexander is an upgrade from just a guy. And look, I heard you in hour one, sitting in typical carpool, and you're right. Look, when he's healthy, he's good. When he's not, obviously he can't get on the field. And he missed 3 games this year, but he was on his way back to playing this week. Something tells me maybe this trade might have sat him 1 extra week just to get it done, and then they get out from under that contract, and then the Saints get him. But Kiko Alonso wasn't even playing.
Yeah.
So all in all, you're in win now mode if you get Kwon Alexander on the field. And by the way, when he played those 5 games, he played almost every snap in every one of those games. So he was an every down linebacker with Fred Warner in San Francisco. So if you move him to that point, with DeMario Davis, it's an upgrade. And then if he's playing Will, DeMario doesn't have to do as much coverage, which means he can spy a quarterback, a running back, blitz more. So I think it's a good move that's really not going to be a big time cost for the Saints.
Walk me through the physicals and how that normally happens. Like, would the Saints have done this deal if they didn't have assurances that his ankle was okay?
They didn't do a physical per se. Like, they didn't fly him in and do a physical. I mean, that just didn't happen. But he was limited in practice this past week, and it sounded like, if you go look at the way the Niners beat reporters were reporting it, it sounded like he was going to play.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of surprised me. I went to go look to see if he played, and he didn't. So it kind of surprised me that he didn't. And then the next day he gets traded. So, like I said, it sounds like he's ready to roll and play when he's allowed to out of the COVID stuff. And look, he's better than Kiko Alonso. I mean, he's better than Alex Anzalone. And for 8 games, which is probably how much you're going to have him, because you're not going to have him this week, I'd take him for 8 games and then see what happens.
Larry Holder's with us. He's on Twitter at Larry Holder, theathletic.com/New Orleans. Speaking of injuries and the prevailing question, of course, it's Mike Thomas. Any insight there?
I'll say it again. I assume he's going to play this week, and don't call me if he doesn't. But like, this seems like, as far as the hamstring, well, yes, I know you will. You will call me, text me, tweet me. You'll do whatever's necessary to take a shot, which is okay. I do the same to you.
Well, that's true, and your children do it to me also.
Fact. At least your kid does not do that. He needs, let's. He does. Maybe he wants to stay away from Uncle Larry.
Or maybe I have a well-behaved child. How about that? Better respectful.
Wow. So you're dogging my kids and saying,
no, I'm dogging you. It's not their fault. It's your fault. You're the parent.
Wow.
Yeah.
I learned it by watching you.
The more you know.
Anyway, look, I figured the hamstring injury, from what I was hearing, would be a 2-week thing, and I'm curious to see how he practices Wednesday, if it's limited and he's that way all week. But this certainly seems like long enough time for him to be able to get over that and be able to get on the field.
How much does – all right, so super obvious question, right? How much does it impact the Saints when he returns?
Well, not just him. I'd say Emmanuel Sanders, because that's an element where neither one of those two guys played together very long. And I think I'm not going to say it opens this thing up, because they've had Michael Thomas, and it doesn't open up the offense if you're looking for like 30-yard throws every other throw. I mean, that style of offense is not going to change, but it does at least give you more perimeter access to where you're not having to look just kind of in the seams, like for a Kamara or for Jared Cook, or just from someone over the middle. So that gives you more flexibility. Take some heat off Alvin Kamara, which might make him even more effective. So I think that when you look at it in that sense, I mean, this offense can only go up from here. You mean you're getting better players at your skill position.
Are you encouraged by the pressure that the Saints got against the Bears, or is that more a product of the Bears having sort of a makeshift offensive line?
No, I'm impressed because it's not just a one-week thing. I feel like it's been happening probably since the Detroit game. We started seeing more pressure. And look, people are dogging on Cam Jordan because he doesn't have the sack numbers. But he is, I could tell you just by some of the next-gen numbers, I mean, this isn't air yards, but as far as distance to the quarterback, Cam Jordan has been very good, I'd say, these last 3 weeks. He might not have the big-time numbers. He has gotten a sack in the last couple of games. But you're seeing Trey Hendrickson play well. Marcus Davenport, now that he's on the field, you're seeing him make an impact. David Onyemata certainly looked good. I mean, you wish Sheldon Rankins didn't get injured, but he was looking good. So, look, just because Cam Jordan's not doing it, I mean, if you want to complain about it, complain about it. But at the same time, you might as well say, look, Trey Hendrickson and Marcus Davenport are playing well. So, if you want to be Debbie Downer, look at Cam Jordan, even though he's not playing as poorly as people say.
Assess this team through 8 weeks at 5-2, 4-game win streak. We know all that stuff, but assess big picture in your mind where they are right now.
Oh, I don't think they're the best team in the NFC. I mean, I was saying that probably at the midpoint in the last couple of seasons, but I don't think that they're there right now. Could they get there? Maybe. I mean, the defense has to improve. Offense, if that takes a step up and starts winning games in a wider margin of victory, I think you could see that. Could that happen? I think it could. Because, look, even though they struggled, they've still won 4 games in a row. You got to be a good team to do that with everything that's going on internally, externally, whether it's injury, suspension, COVID, you name it. They've still got to be a good team to be able to do that and win tight games. Because in some of these win streaks they've had in these last few years, they have won by wide margins, and you've felt more confident about those teams. I still think this team can be one of the best teams in the NFC. I don't think they're there quite yet. I think this week's game is going to be a good test. I mean, Tampa's definitely better than what they were in week 1. Bruce Arians admitted it, and he's smart to do it because they are. And so I think the Saints really need this game. It would give you some distance on Tampa as a tiebreaker, even though, their records are still a game off because of buys. But still, this game is definitely important. I mean, it was important before we saw how the season even progressed, but it's definitely important the way the NFC South is now.
Yeah, Tampa's awesome. 2-point win over the Giants. It was controversial at the end. You're right. Great team. Huge.
Wow. No, so you're not giving Tampa any credit. Like, they just because, look, they won games with wider margins. So the Saints have won all these crazy games. Wow, Detroit, huge. Chicago's not that good. They barely won. The Chargers can't hold the lead against anyone. But they're still winning games, so I'm not going to poo-poo on them.
They stink.
I mean, I just used the word poo-poo, so maybe they do stink.
That was a little bit of what's it called? Oh no, you wouldn't. Would that be onomatopoeia? Would poo-poo be onomatopoeia, or is that spelling out like sounds, like whoosh?
Man,
this is a question for Triplet. He's way smarter than you.
Oh,
Give me
boy,
Triplet.
I'm not going to go that far.
Give me
He's
Triplet.
louder than me. I'm pretty loud.
Is Triplet loud? Triplet's never loud here. You're loud.
Triplet is louder than me.
Triplet's never loud on the air. Triplet's sort of meek on the air.
Yes,
very
but
temperate.
Triplet does not have the same rapport as you and me, where we
I don't know.
talked about stupidity.
We do. Triplet comes on here and does Mad Libs.
Mad Lib?
Yes, we do Mad Libs, Triplet and I.
So if I'm Uncle Larry, who is he?
Mad Lib Mike.
Wow. That's Ad Lib Matt, just pulling off of Mad Lib Mike.
That's why I sit in this chair, friend. He is Larry Holder. TheAthletic.com/New Orleans. Go read his stuff there and follow him on Twitter at Larry Holder. He might have his children, who are very rude, by the way, make a video blasting you.
That's very true. That might happen. Be very conscious of your actions.
Good luck with your fence. We'll see you later. All right, that is Larry Holder. Again, TheAthletic.com/New Orleans. It's about time. It's high time we had Triplet back to do some more Mad Libs. Need to get that done. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. More stupidity. Lee Feinswag next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Premier South Roofing and PremierSouthLA.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, Lake Charles, and online at PremierSouthLA.com, PremierSouthLA.com. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, Super Service Award from Angie's List, Torch Award from for Ethics in Business. If you were in the path of Zeta, like our friend Larry, if you were in the path of Delta or Laura or any of the storms this season, or maybe it's just that time, heavy rain, hail, that you have roof damage, or just time, roof repairs, roof replacements, Premier South Roofing. Whatever type of roof you have, if it's a traditional shingle roof, maybe you've got a metal roof on whatever type of building you have that had damage, Premier South Roofing, they can certainly help. And they fabricate their own metals, so gutters, awnings as well, and they fabricate their own metals, meaning they can offer you the longest labor warranty in the industry. It's Premier South Roofing, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, and Lake Charles, and online, PremierSouthLA.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a 2020 Camry LE with 0% for 6 years or for $22,890. Hurry in, they won't last long. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Lee Feinswag. Hi, Lee.
Hi, Matt. Did you say going to the last break that we'd be back with more stupidity and I'm next?
Got it. Nailed it. I mean, has a more accurate statement ever been said on this show?
I resemble that remark.
Yes, you do. Hey, is this the worst LSU football team you've ever seen?
Oh, no, by no means. I mean,
really?
Think two words.
Curly Hallman?
Hudson Hallman. That was his real name.
Okay.
The first practice that I ever went to was one of the first practices, and I had to write the story that day. And he came and he was wearing a shirt, and I didn't know they all had initials on their shirts. The coaches did. His said HH. And I said, "What's HH stand for?" And he looked at me and goes, "Head honcho." And then I found out later his first name was really Hudson. Those were some bad teams. You got to remember, Matt, for a really long time, minus those first 3 years that Jerry DiNardo had, there was a stretch of about, I want to say something like 14 years, minus those 3 years where LSU football was bad. There were 55,000 people in the seats for, Curly games. And, now
capacity was the capacity was 79, so it's worth saying that as well. But yes.
Well, percentage-wise, but 55,000. Could you imagine an LSU football game now starting with 55,000?
I was about to say, I can't just look at the middle of the third quarter.
Yeah, right. Well, but starting a game, not with coronavirus in effect. Yeah. But yeah, it's there's always a fine line between winning and losing, and so I've watched these games and think about, obviously with a break or two, LSU could have beaten Mississippi State. That game was a 10-point game, but there were turning points.
It was tied with 8 minutes to go, and LSU had the ball.
Yeah, and the Missouri game, 45-41. There's plenty of opportunities there.
You got four plays from the two.
Yeah, there were no opportunities this past Saturday. That was certainly abysmal. And but there are certain things about the team that are obvious. There's a defensive struggle. How's that for tactfully phrased? But if you look at them, and especially if I was trying to just come up with something because I knew you'd want to talk about this.
Right.
So I went over and I looked at all the stats because usually the stats will tell you something. Their stats and their opponent's stats are almost identical. If you go top to bottom and just flush them out, the team stats are it's amazing how comparable they are from their opponents. The biggest thing, the only thing that I could come up with that is really glaring, other than the defense and a malaise that's out there, is LSU can't run the ball. The rushing stats are abysmal.
Yeah,
and you have to be able to run the football, no matter how good your quarterback is, no matter how good your receivers are. You just simply have to run the football to maintain possession, keep the defense off the field, and grind out some time. Even if you have a Joe Burrow playing quarterback, even if you have all those receivers he had last year, and still LSU scoring a whole bunch of points, until Saturday. That was brutal though. That was really brutal.
So, if this isn't the worst team ever, it's still concerning though that we're asking the question, and it's something that you actually have to consider.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go back. I have to do a quick glance and look at year by year and see, what would jump out at me. But, juxtaposed against what happened last year, when you had the single greatest team maybe in college football history, certainly LSU sports history, and where everything was just magnificent from top to bottom. Mm-hmm. I mean, last year, how many times were there where you even rolled your eyes? Hardly ever. that team was unbelievable with the talent it had. And of course, you lost a lot of talent. Has any team ever lost more talent in 1 year? Combined with not only just the players who left to go to the NFL, but the guys who left in the preseason because they just weren't going to continue their football and put themselves in a better position for next year's draft. Forget all the other elements of all the other things that are going on. Has any team ever lost more?
I mean,
hell, they lost half an NFL team.
I know. It's that whole question is only emphasized more by the fact that all the rookies are doing exceptionally well. But I'll point out, Lee, that a year ago, Bama lost 10 players to the NFL draft and 2 coordinators, and they didn't miss a beat. You know what I mean? It's
but let me ask you this again, playing devil's advocate. Has any team in the history of college football, year in and year out, like over the course of the last 15 years, ever done what Alabama's done, meaning losing all these great players every year?
I get it.
And the only other team that's ever done that is
Ohio
Kentucky
State
basketball.
Well, it's different also in basketball. You understand it's not apples to apples. I know you know that.
Sure.
But Clemson, Bama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, there's a rarefied air, but that's the point, right? LSU fans, and certainly the players and the coaches, want the program to be at that status, and that was kind of the hope, right? You want a championship. Now, can you maintain it? And the answer very clearly and emphatically is no. It's been a monumental, record-setting plummet, and then it's going to take another rebuild. So can Ed Orgeron do it? Maybe. My question to you is, go ahead.
He didn't help things by saying a week before the season ended that his defense was fantastic and was ahead of schedule, ahead of last year's defense, and set you up thinking, all right, well, this team's going to be pitching some shutouts. We got 100-mile-an-hour guys coming out of the bullpen.
His exact quote was, "This defense right now is so much better than they were at any point a year ago."
Oops.
And right.
Yeah.
And look,
and you give up 44, and that was beyond record setting. I mean, that first game with Mississippi State, and then to give up 45 against Missouri and 48 against Auburn. I mean, that's just so that makes him, I'm speaking to the choir there.
He was asked about it. I think Rabelais asked him the question. I had the same question written down in my notes to ask that Monday after the Missouri game. And it was asked point blank about that quote. And Ed said something to the effect of, "I know you guys have been wanting to nail me on that." I'm like, well, hey, man, you're the one who said it, Jack. I mean, you didn't, no one pressed you to say that. That was an immature thing for Ed to say, because that was a not so veiled shot at Dave Aranda and an attaboy to his guy, Bo Pelini. So I get it, but now you got to eat those words. It's not on the media's fault for asking you the question about what you said. And I thought Scott asked it very tactfully. But my question for you is, would you fire Bo Pelini?
No. Maybe at the end of the season, if you can afford it. Because didn't he sign a 3-year contract that's pretty lucrative?
$2.3 million per year.
Right. So now you have an athletic department that I think I saw this number projects to lose $80 million and is begging for money.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, please contribute money. So you're not firing anybody who you owe 2 years of $1 million plus to. That's number one.
Why not?
Well, if you don't have the money, you can't do it. Not if you're losing $80 million. Again, I'm just saying, So you got that, and then I personally think it's wrong to fire coaches in mid-season unless there's something moral or illegal going on, immoral or illegal, or maybe moral. But this is a lost season. You're not going to gain anything. Now the idea is to just try to get the most experience and build momentum into the off season and whatever 2021 brings, and who knows there as well.
So
but what would be the point? What would be the point of firing Bo Pelini if you thought you should fire him? And fire him now.
Why did they fire Les Miles 4 games in 2016?
I thought that was a mistake, and I thought firing John Brady while he was still coaching that season that he had at LSU was a mistake. I don't believe in it. I think it's wrong. Now, if a guy's committing NCAA violations, he has legal problems, there's things like that. Sure, they got to go. So in addition to that's just me personally. I don't think
I respect
you fire
it.
guys.
Listen, I can respect that as a tenet, but I'd also point to what the administration said in 2016, which was, and this was Joe Oliva, obviously, who's the worst athletic director I've ever seen. But Joe Oliva said at the time, we don't want this to be a lost season for the current players. We want them to maximize whatever they can. And so that's why they made the change at the time that they did. And Ed Orgeron injected life, and they went out that week against Missouri and put up 600 yards, which was the most LSU had ever put up in a conference game. And my feeling, and I expressed this yesterday on the show, Lee, and I'm not the fire the coach guy. It's not my job to hire or fire. I don't sit here and yell, fire the coach all the time, and I rarely do. But my feeling is if you want to improve immediately, the only recourse I think you have would be to demote or fire Bo Pelini and elevate Corey Raymond, because most of those guys are on the roster because of Corey Raymond, and I know they play their ass off for him. And if you want to get a better performance from these players this year, I think that's the only way to do it. Or you can punt the season.
Yeah. Well, at 2-3, is there any in the schedule that looms large? With Alabama coming in here, it would be would we be safe to say that would be a monumental upset, regardless of whether you punted, you fired the coach or not?
LSU's going to be a 3-touchdown underdog, and I'd lay the points.
Okay, so you're 2-4 coming out of that game with only 4 games left.
Yeah.
So, okay, after that game, if things are real bad, you want to make changes just because you want to have a feel good, build a little, like I say, build momentum into next year.
But you remember what Ed said throughout 2016? He kept saying our new season. It was basically like he just severed the first 4 games and said, all right, we're only counting it from here forward. At least that's the mentality he gave to the players. It's almost like it's what he's got to do right now.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you about that part. Like I said, I've always just been of the, it's my mindset that you just don't fire guys for that reason.
Yeah, okay.
But it's okay.
All right, well, let's talk about beer.
Okay.
Oh, what is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Beer. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. Beer. I could really use it. Beer, beer, beer.
Take it away.
All right, Matt. Well, a couple of things, a little bookkeeping first. Please go to sports225.com and see about this week's show, which includes Ron Higgins, the Dean of SEC Sports Writers and the editor of Tiger Rag. And if you haven't already today, go vote. Now, Matt, I've been trying to figure out which beer to vote on for you this week because I've been sampling. And I've got a few stockpiled. I tried a couple I didn't like, but I got one for you.
Okay.
Abita has upgraded. It's Giacomo, and it's called Giacomo Juicy IPA. It's
you
a beautiful
shut your
gold
face right
beer. Now. Ooh, I tell you, it's they call it a New England IPA. It's 6% alcohol, and and I'm on record as like I'm not a big IPA guy.
You're not.
There's another one I tried this week that I didn't like that I wouldn't push on you. This one, Giacomo Juicy IPA, just tastes good. Just a fabulous starting taste, a little bit different finish taste. Their game notes, Giacomo Juicy IPA is a double dry hopped IPA packed with Citra, Apollo, and a blend of experimental hops, Matt. Experimental.
Oh, they're experimenting with the hops.
It pours a lively gold color while the brewing process produces a distinctive haze. Coming in right at 6%, Giacomo Juicy IPA produces tropical and fruity notes that will leave you wanting more. And it, in fact, does. And I had a 6-pack and drank 2 of them, and I've got one cold waiting for me as soon as we hang up.
Well, then, let's not delay. Thank you, Lee.
Goodbye, Matt.
We'll see you. That is Lee Feinswag. This is After Further Review. Stay here.
AFR.
If you need to sell your home, call Darren James and get your home sold. Do you realize that we are now into November the 3rd, and November has been the biggest home selling month the last 7 years in Baton Rouge? Don't wait. The reason's obvious. You want to be in your new home for the new year or your new home for the holidays? You have to move now. I've been telling you about it for a month and you waited, so don't wait anymore. Call Darren James, get your home sold. Don't wait till spring until the market's flooded again. Call Darren James and get your home sold. We still have a shortage of inventory. If you are thinking of putting your home on the market, call Darren James today and get this done. Does your realtor run daily marketing ads? Does your realtor have a plan? Ask to see it. Then call Darren James. Say, hey, Darren, tell me your plan that Scone always talks about to sell my home. 335-7666. 335-7666 for Darren James.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hey, football fans, T-Bomb here, reminding you that Hooters is your headquarters for football. If you can't get in, they still got the Hooters girls, the TVs, the wings, the beer, everything you love about game day. But what if you're watching at your house? Maybe having some people over. You don't feel like cooking? Well, great. Hooters, they have your back. You download the Hooters app. You'll get a free app, and then you go and you pick up the food. You bring it home. Everybody loves you because you got Hooters wings, and game day, it's a match made in heaven. Download the app. Get Hooters to go. Hooters, your headquarters for football.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA-certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat Services.
At Corval Toyota Annapolis, you can get into a 2020 Highlander for $4,500 off MSRP. That's right, $4,500 off MSRP.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Bayou Ford powers the all-new 104.5 ESPN mobile app. Download the app today to watch our shows daily, listen to us live wherever you go, find out what you missed on demand, and more. It's a free download, available for both Apple and Android devices, and it's powered by Bayou Ford.
Hey, Muse!
Hey, Matt.
Did you hear the good news?
I don't know. What good news are you talking about here?
Oh, I think you know the good news. My guy, Coop!
Don't do this.
CR! How about it? Ian Rappaport tweeted a bit ago, Cowboys seriously contemplating turning to quarterback Cooper Rush as their starter this week, which would require he get activated in the practice squad. With Andy Dalton down with COVID, it may not be Ben DiNucci again. I have never, by the way, never been a Ben DiNucci fan. I've known him a long time.
Just like you've never been a Cooper Rush fan.
Ben DiNucci.
You've never even heard of Cooper Rush.
I have known Ben DiNucci almost his entire life, and I'll tell you.
You said you weren't a Ben DiNucci fan.
Listen. Would you listen? What I'm telling you is I've known him almost his whole life. I've never been a big fan. Yeah, I know James Madison and all that stuff. Now, Cooper Rush, on the other hand, Muse, I'm telling you, all the way back from his days in Charlotte. That would be Charlotte, Michigan, by the way. Those of us who've known Coop a long time and have been long-standing fans.
Don't
from
know
his
him.
days back at Lansing Catholic. Come on, Lansing Catholic
Okay,
Muse.
clearly I'm going to have to get the receipts again. Do you remember this,
Lansing
Matt?
Catholic.
Yeah, do you remember this?
If you had asked me who's Cooper Rush, I would have said, is he a country star? I have no idea.
You have no clue. You never knew who he was. You thought he was a country star.
Clearly, Muse. Clearly. I was being facetious.
Nah, you sounded pretty truthful there.
Well, that's
You're not
my
that
job.
good of an actor.
Look, if I didn't know who Cooper Rush was, could I have told you that he went to Lansing Catholic High School?
Yes, with a quick Google search, you could tell me that, Matt. You have a computer right in front of you.
Come on. Oh, Coop. I mean, I know his birthday. It's November 21st. He's got his 27th birthday coming up here, Muse. You know how many times I've celebrated Cooper Rush's birthday?
Yeah, him and me both. But you don't know Cooper Rush.
Is that your birthday?
November 23rd is my birthday,
Oh,
actually.
well,
And it
you're
will be
not
my
November
27th.
the 21st,
Oh,
like
that's
my
2
guy
days.
Coop. See, that goes to show you, Muse. I didn't even know your birthday. I knew Coop's birthday.
You don't even know
so
Cooper
tight
Rush.
For so long.
You've never met him. You've never heard of him until the Saints signed
president
Jameis Winston.
of the Cooper Rush fan club.
He doesn't have a fan
Yes,
club. He's
he
a
does.
fourth-string quarterback.
It's membership one. And I'm the president
That's
of
not
it,
how it
Muse.
works.
That is how it works.
Fourth-string quarterbacks do not have fan clubs.
Well, you do if you're Cooper Rush and you got a lifelong fan like Scone. That's what I'm talking about here. Tell you what, I was pulling for him all those days there at Central Michigan. Even when he went undrafted back in 2017, Muse.
You're at his draft party.
I was heartbroken for him. I couldn't make it that day. I was heartbroken for him that he went undrafted back in 2016. But you know what happened? He persevered. Landed with the Cowboys.
You're clearly reading this off of that screen. I can see your eyes.
He landed with
You're
the Cowboys.
clearly reading it.
I just look down. I look down all the time. You mean clearly reading? I got Twitter up. I mean, it's Ian Rappaport's Twitter. Look. Paul, pull up my screen. Look, show him, Paul. There's my screen. It's Rappaport's Twitter. What do you mean do? Look.
Don't go along with this, Paul. You know as well as I do, this man has never heard of Cooper Rush.
Well, I'm pulling for him. That's all I know. I'm pulling hard. You know that?
You might need to pray for him going against the Steelers defense.
I mean, I know Matthew and Francis Rush, his parents. They're going to be so proud of their boy, Coop, if he makes that start this weekend. They're going to be really, really proud of him.
You don't even know them. You don't know him. You don't know any of these people.
Look, he led his team to back-to-back undefeated regular seasons in 2010 and 2011 when he was at Lansing Catholic. Back-to-back undefeated regular seasons. There were state runners-up in 2011. The heartbreak of losing that state championship game, that is stayed with Coop for so long, Muse.
It's fueled his fire.
It has.
A fire that you know
I couldn't
literally
believe it.
nothing about.
When they lost to Powers Catholic 56-26, he was heartbroken. And Coop did his part. He threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game, Muse.
You're never going to even... You don't know him.
Poor Coop.
Poor Coop.
Well, not poor Coop. All that hard work. From the days tossing around the ball in the backyard of Matthew and Francis Rush there in Charlotte, Michigan, to Lansing Catholic, to Central Michigan after the big schools passed on an elite talent like Coop, despite the fact that he earned ESPN's Michigan Gatorade Player of the Year honors as a senior. Going there to Central Michigan, where he became a 4-year starter.
The Chippewas.
For the Chippewas. How about that 2014 Bahamas Bowl game against Western Kentucky?
The one you're just reading about right now?
The
that you
49
didn't
14.
watch?
No, I did. The 49-14 game. You don't remember the Bahamas Bowl? You don't remember that Bahamas Bowl? There was like 6 people in the stands.
That was every year at the Bahamas Bowl. You were not.
I went to that Bahamas Bowl, Muse.
No, you didn't.
I watched it here. I couldn't go. I had to do the show that day.
The Bahamas Bowl was an afternoon game always.
It was.
Yeah.
We watched it
It was
here.
always here.
Go look it up, Muse. It was a great game.
No Bahamas Bowl was ever a great game.
That was a great game. Great game for Coop, who's going to get his chance this weekend. I hope. Hate to see Andy Dalton go down with the concussion and then the COVID. But if that's what had to clear the path, look, Wally Pipp just took a day off. And you know what? Look what happened. I'm sorry Dak had to get hurt, and then Andy Dalton got cheap shotted, then got the COVID. and Ben DiNucci, who I am on the record never having liked Ben DiNucci. As long as I've known old Benny.
And you don't know him either, by the way.
Those of us who know him well call him Benny. Big Daddy B-Boy. That's what we call him. Yep.
Nobody's ever called him that. I'm
Those
willing
of us
to bet.
who know him well.
I'm willing to bet that nobody has ever called Ben DiNucci.
Those of us who know
Big
him
Daddy
the best
B-Boy.
have called him Big Daddy B-Boy since he
I
was
don't
a
think
baby.
so. No.
Yep. But I just have never liked him. Never liked him. Coop,
Never knew him.
Coop. Pulling for him. My guy. If you had asked me who's Cooper Rush, I would have said, is he a country star? I have no idea. Coop. My guy.
The country star, Cooper Rush.
My guy. Maybe you don't know, Muse. Maybe you don't know.
That makes us the same, doesn't it?
Maybe you don't know. Put a guitar in Coop's hands. It's like a combination of Fergie and Jesus. You didn't know that, did you? See? Those of us who know him best, Muse. Those of us who know him best. All right. Since Musso has absolutely wasted that entire segment with everything I had planned to talk about, and he just wouldn't let it die. We knock out our final break. We'll come back. We'll do Tigers and the pros. And the NFL, they'd be moving to a 16-team playoff this year. It's on the table. We'll talk about that. Rohan Davey in about 15 minutes. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air. Remember, this is the time, y'all. A lot of you are doing it. I know you are. Don't try to lie. We live in South Louisiana, and when temperatures get into the 40s, people start turning their heaters on because ain't nobody like cold weather. So, if that's you, and you've not yet called River City's 1 Hour Air, don't let another day pass. $97. They'll come to your house. They'll do that preseason heater safety check. They'll get your heater running efficiently, but more importantly, they will clean it and make sure that it is safe. So often this time of year, there are house fires that are caused from faulty furnaces and heaters. Don't let that be you. Protect your home. More importantly, protect your family. Just $97 for the preseason heater safety check from River City's 1 Hour Air.
Hello.
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up.
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and 7 have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Glad you're with us here. Always appreciate our friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana because they find ways to get you better coverage for less money. Insurance Network of Louisiana, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. No, Muse. It was not. It was. We were talking about, I'll just tell you all. On my Facebook does Facebook memories on that day. Today popped up on my Facebook memories some pictures. There was screen grabs of the Astros winning Game 7 of the World Series against the Dodgers, and it was Bregman was on the set post game, and then his parents, Sam and Jackie, were there as well. And then remember Correa proposed post game on the field.
He did.
Well, I don't know if you remember this, but Sam and Jackie Bregman were like half the screen. So Correa is proposing, and they're standing right there looking at it.
They photobombed his proposal?
They didn't photobomb. Like, Jackie was standing right there, and she starts hitting Sam like, look at what's happening right in front of us. Like, if you go back and watch the Correa proposal, they were right there. So I had screen grabbed a lot of that, and I guess I shared it on Facebook anyway, whatever. So, and that popped up today on Memories. I don't know why I waited 2 days to post it, though, because it was November 1st. Muso, Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Monday Night Football last night, a couple LSU Tigers did see the field. Leonard Fournette was the leading rusher for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their 25-23 win over the Giants. 15 carries, 52 yards, with a long of 13 for Leonard, 3.5 yards per carry. Did not find the end zone. Also caught 3 passes for 19 yards with a long of 8.
Whatever he stinks.
No end zone there for Leonard.
Whatever he stinks. All I see is Tampa Bay on his uniform. He stinks.
Devin White also plays for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he stinks
No,
too.
he doesn't stink. He really doesn't stink.
Yeah, he does.
He was tied for the lead in tackles for the Bucs last night. 7 total stops. 5 of them were solo. He did sack Daniel Jones once. That was his tackle for a loss. Also had 2 other hits.
Stinks.
On Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes. He stinks.
He's dropping dimes to the other team, though, regularly, man.
Yeah, he
it's fine.
stinks.
He's not very good. Not very good. Cost his team the game. We have some rookie power rankings once again heading into Week 9. These come from CBS Sports. Joe Burrow claiming that top spot still after a signature win over the Tennessee Titans. Justin Jefferson, wide receiver for the Vikings, at number 5. To find the next Tiger, you have to go all the way down to number 15, and that is Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Helaire.
Yeah, that's what we said.
No, you said Helaire.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Nope.
Yeah,
Emphasis on the E, not the lair.
It's the same thing.
It's not.
You
It's
know
a-
what I'm talking about.
That's like me saying Muso.
You do say that.
But I
all
do
the
say that
time.
intentionally mispronouncing your name.
Maybe I did that intentionally. You don't know. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, I know how to say
Nope.
the guy's name.
You just messed it up again.
I did not. It's Helaire.
No, it's not. It's Helaire.
Whenever I say Helaire, you say I'm saying it wrong. Whenever I say Helaire, you say I'm wrong. Yeah, same thing.
First of all, you said Helaire. It's E. It's a long E, and the emphasis on the E, not the lair. It's Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Clyde
not Helaire.
Edwards-Helaire.
There you go.
Helaire.
No, see, there's a difference.
Hey, where'd he go to high school? You're just not going to do it? Goodness gracious.
I'm getting so distracted by people mispronouncing his name. I'm forgetting to yell Kelly Ha.
Damian Lewis, guard, just off the list. He was one guy who just didn't make it according to CBS Sports. So keep an eye. D-Lou might pop up on that rookie power rankings later on.
You might pop
That's
up.
That's Tigers in the Pros. I will not be on that list.
You might be on. You're not going to be on the list.
I'm not. I'm not an NFL rookie.
Presented by KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com. Kentucky's best hemp. Muso gives hemp to his dog.
That's true.
It is true. They got the doggy bacon. So if you have a dog that has anxiety or a pet that has anxiety, get the doggy bacon. Bad weather, if dog or pet has a little anxiety, help them out there. If you have trouble falling asleep at night, sleeping soundly, maybe you have trouble with inflammation or anxiety, CBD products are all natural. They are completely legal. So that's a misconception a lot of people have. And there's so many different ways. If you want to take the gummies, or they have the capsules, or they have the oil, you just put a dropper under your tongue. Honey sticks, they've got salve. So if you've got like aching joints, you put the salve or the cream on those joints. CBD products. Use the promo code AFR30, promo code AFR30, promo code AFR30 to save 30% off at
KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com.
Kentucky's best hemp. All right, y'all, it's at further review. Rohan Davey joins us as we start hour 3. We get his take on what it was like for TJ Finley Saturday at Auburn. Rough day all around for the LSU offense, certainly for the freshman quarterback, and what the Tigers do moving forward. Our weekly chat with Rohan Davey is coming straight at you. I also want to talk about the NFL Competition Committee proposing a 16-team playoff, if the rest of this regular season goes awry. SportsCenter's next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Such an easy-to-use website when you go to ShawBillsTire.com. And it doesn't matter what type of service you need. For example, I need an oil change. I just popped on my dash, oil change in 200 miles. So go to ShawBillsTire.com. You can book your service. You can buy tires. As a matter of fact, if you go to the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see it right there where it says you have questions. That's the chat function. Pick the location nearest you, and you can schedule service right there on the chat function or top of the homepage. It just says schedule service. Tap that right there at tap schedule service. Fill out the location, what your make model of your vehicle is, what you need done. You can get it all done right there at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com for more than 50 years. Check him out. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
What do Honda lovers look forward to this time of year? Aside from family, turkey, and pie, happy Honda Days at Richards Honda. It's that time of year when everything is at clearance prices. And since we're stocked up on inventory, you'll have plenty to choose from. Over 700 in stock at transparent prices. Happy Honda Days makes happy customers. Come see why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I'm Jay Ducote,
I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Saturday's Wisconsin-Purdue game has been canceled because of Wisconsin's COVID-19 outbreak in the program. Game won't be rescheduled. With 2 canceled games already, Wisconsin is on the brink of not being able to compete in the Big Ten championship game. Currently, in order to compete, a team must play at least 6 games. The Badgers have 6 games left. Buccaneers announced Antonio Brown officially has been activated from the suspended list. He'll have a role in Sunday's game against the Saints. Could be 10 plays, could be 35, according to Coach Bruce Arians. The receivers addition should put Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl, believes ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
This team is loaded to bear, and it puts them in that Kansas City Chiefs category with offensive weaponry that we don't talk about with very many teams. This team is loaded, and you give that with the protection. The offensive line's done a pretty good job into the season. I think this is the one for the NFC.
Cowboys don't yet have a definitive plan of who their starting quarterback will be Sunday against the Steelers. Andy Dalton's on the COVID list. He won't play. ESPN's Todd Archer reports Dallas's plan to work out Garrett Gilbert and Cooper Rush with the first team this week. But rookie Ben DiNucci, he hasn't been ruled out despite his struggles on Sunday night.
We're back on Wednesday, continuing to talk about the big debate, Fields versus Lawrence.
If I'm the Jets or the Giants or the Miami Dolphins, I'm taking Trevor Lawrence if I have the first overall pick.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Wednesday, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. 5 o'clock, it is quitting time, and glad you're driving home with us every Tuesday in hour 3. We visit with former LSU quarterback, our good friend Rohan Davey. Good enough to join us here. Ro, how are you, man?
What's happening?
Well,
could be better.
Well, we're breathing. We live in a free country, election day, all that stuff. So you're right. It could be better, but it could be worse as well. So perspective matters a lot. Hey, let's start just with your general feelings watching that game on Saturday, since we didn't get to talk post-game. What did you think, how that all transpired?
Man, the beginning of it, I saw a fight. My most disappointing part about the game was the game and the outcome, but just the effort and the lack of effort in the second half when, you know, you kind of knew the writing was on the wall and you kind of knew when you were out the football game. For me, it was just seeing the lack of effort with the players in the second half. kind of just conceding the victory. Still not fighting until that last second is ticked off the clock, fight for 60 minutes. I think that was the most disappointing part for me, and especially because you have so many young guys, and we talk about how young the team is, and it's a rebuilding year. Well, you want to see that fight. You know what I mean? You want to see that fight regardless of what the score is. And for me, that was the most disappointing part.
I want to get into TJ Finley's day, but I kind of want to explore a little bit more since you went there. How do you fix that, bro? Like, how do you fix that?
Well, that to me, man, Matt, we've talked a bunch, and you've heard me say over and over that the coaches were going to have to do their greatest coaching job this year because of the circumstances, because of COVID, because of the depletion of players to the league, because of the opt-out, just because of the circumstances. And they have not, starting with our head guy, have not answered that bell thus far. And it showed in this past game. It starts, when you ask the question, that's where it starts with. I hear everybody talking about a championship hangover by the players, and everyone wants to say, well, the players are having a championship hangover or had or first them or whatever. Well, so are the coaches. So are the coaches are still thinking about last year and basking in last year, and that's definitely shown in our preparation. We still have guys, miscommunication in the secondary in whatever week this is now, week 5, 6, whatever, and guys are still simple communication errors. We're still got guys running, busting loose, wide open, with blown coverages and things of that nature. I saw much more, just like we always talk about. I watch how you come out the huddle and how guys are. I saw a lot more confusion in this past game than I did the last game.
Can you turn that around mid-season?
I think if you had some real leadership on a team as far as guys on different units, offense, defense, special teams, and head, but the way I don't think that we can turn it around right now at the point that we're at. And then especially with now having the meat of the schedule really coming up upon us. You know what I mean? I think it's going to take a gigantic effort from starting at the head with Coach Ed Orgeron and down to whoever he selects to be the quarterback going into the Alabama game. I don't think that this right now is something that we could change and flip and change in season. I think you can change the mantra and get some guys that's going to give you the effort that you're looking for. I think you can definitely do that. You could up the antes and practice and ruffle some feathers and could create that competitive environment again. I think you could do that and get guys playing with more effort. But as far as like just changing the outcome or the trajectory of wins and losses, I don't think we could change that right now.
So Ed Orgeron has referenced 2017, which had a rough start. They lost. They got blown out by Mississippi State. They lost to Troy. And they faced that adversity and managed to get it right, Ro. I mean, they won 9 games that year. They lost to Bama, but that was the only game they lost after the Troy loss.
Okay.
I can point to 2019 or 1999, your team. I mean, the team that was a 3-win team. And, of course, there was a coaching change. And then when the coaching change happened, you all beat Arkansas. Look, Ed Orgeron, when he came in 2016, amid that coaching change, it was an about face for a team that was floundering. And they pulled themselves together. So what do you do, bro? Like, how do you have an event that's similar, right? That gets this team focused to make whatever it can of the remainder of this season?
Yeah, well, I don't know what the remainder of the season was those years, but I'm sure if it was similar to now, it was probably the similar schedule. And you pointed out all those teams. I can't remember who the quarterback of those teams was or who was on them teams. But this is a whole different year. I don't know if we had the same depletions with Brady and the quarterback and everything that we've lost. I don't know. I'm not saying that you can turn it around at some point. If guys make their mind up, and like I said, I personally don't think it's going to be turned around with wins and losses.
Okay.
I still think the same losses or wins that we expect them to have going forward with the tough schedule, I think the outcome of all those are going to be the same. What I'm speaking of is just getting, and it's funny that to say change the attitude, because the attitude and the identity of this team was already been established. Coach Orgeron has already established play hard, work hard, one team together. Well, that's not what we're seeing right now is what I'm saying. So he has to get back to that message that he had when he first started the program with the guys last year. He has to get back to that message because we're not one team, one goal. We're one team, one goal, but we're not all on the same goal and on the same path right now. So he has to get those guys back on the same path, going in the same direction. Like I said, I don't think it's going to equal to wins and losses this year to where we want. But go in the right direction is a plus going into next year.
Well, I'll tell you this: LSU's not 37 points worse than Auburn. Hell, they were favored in the game.
I agree.
Let's call it what they were.
Agree.
They were double-digit favorites over both Mississippi State and Missouri.
I mean, we both know that, man. It's the same as when they lost to Mississippi State. It's the same thing.
They were double-digit favorites over State and Missouri. Like all that is. So I guess my point is, Ro, I still think that there is enough talent on this team that you should absolutely beat Arkansas and Ole Miss. And I wouldn't rule it out that if you played your best game of the season, you could win at either A&M or Florida. You're not beating Bama. I think we all know that. But am I crazy to think that if you got it together and played your best game of the season, you could win 3 of your final 5?
I don't think it's crazy to think that because we've seen those guys play well. So you're going off of, you know what I mean, what we've seen them do and the potential that they have.
I'm talking about talent. Like, you got enough talent to do it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Potential that they have is the talent that they have. That's what I'm talking about. It's not a lack of talent. But what I'm saying is sometimes when you're going through a season such as they're going through with everything that's going on with guys, with everybody not focusing on the task at hand, it's hard to wrestle those guys and bring these young guys back into fold. Because what you saw was young guys looking at each other this past weekend in the secondary, blaming each other because each guy's used to being the man. So it's all that you're dealing with. There's no doubt in my mind that we have enough talent to compete with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, can we get it going in that direction to compete with those guys, going off of what we've seen thus far and what we have going forward, with not knowing who the quarterback's going to be, not knowing if the quarterback's going to be healthy, it's just so many questions. And that's why I say I don't think. I'm not saying it won't, man. I'm with you. I just don't think that it's going to transition into what we want to see going forward.
By the way,
right now,
I agree with you. By the way, I think 2 and 3 is the best you hope for the rest of the way. But if you get it together, I think you can flip it. I don't know if you heard it, Ro, but the thing I said yesterday on the show, Ro, and I'm not a fire the coach guy, but my feeling was, if the only way that I think you could do what I just suggested, like what happened with you all in 1999, was if you replaced Bo Pelini with Corey Raymond. I think most of those guys defensively are here because of Corey to begin with. And if you want an injection of life, look, Ed said it. We can't be more basic on defense.
Yeah.
So
right, and he's right too, because I'm telling you, I'm watching this game on defense, and he's absolutely 100% correct, and that's why I don't understand like the communication between the corner and the safety 14, the communication between 24 and 14, the communication the communication or lack of communication, it drives me crazy, man. So I can't even imagine what it's doing to those coaches, because it's simple. He's right. They've dumbed it down.
All right, look, let's do this. Let's knock out a quick break. Come back. We'll do our second segment. I do want to flip it over because we gotta assess TJ Finley's day and what LSU does moving forward. All right, Rohan Davey's with us. Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. Stick around.
AFR.
Need dinner plans tonight? Ichiban, always a great option. Nessa near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. Of course, if you're going to be watching election coverage tonight, why not swing on into Ichiban? Get your meal to go. Watch it at home. Have you some of the best sushi and the best of 225 awards. And I also got to remind you, so excited that our friends at Ichiban have opened their new concept. It's Boru Ramen in Electric Depot. If you're not familiar, you exit I-110 at Government Street. You go to the right, go through the first light, big red building on the left. It's the big mixed-use development there, the Electric Depot. Boru Ramen, y'all, Patrick Wong went to Tokyo and to New York to train under the top ramen chefs literally in the world. They hand make every noodle. The broth is a 30-hour process to make the broth. If you're thinking 50-cent ramen packets that you used to eat in college, this ain't that. This is a dining experience. Boru Ramen from Ichiban, now open in Electric Depot.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Do you know the proper way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in your office? We do. We're Jani-King, a leader in the cleaning industry for over 30 years, and we've developed comprehensive programs to address proper cleaning and disinfection. We have experience in applying disinfecting programs in hospitals, office buildings, schools, and other venues. Now we're ready to help and able to assist customers that need disinfecting services.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one, but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. Buy a new one for less than a used one. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Rohan Davey's with us, courtesy of our friends over at South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New, certified, pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, southpointvw.com. All right, Ro, let's talk about TJ Finley, man. Rough go, obviously. What did you see?
You said it. Rough go, man. Rough go. Tried to do a little too much on that fumble. My coaches, Jimbo, I ain't heard it when I got to New England, with Charlie Weiss and Josh McDaniels and even Bill. Their favorite phrase for young quarterbacks was know when the journey's over. You know what I mean? Know when ain't nothing else to do. It's over with. And you ain't about to make no play. You ain't about to Patrick Mahomes, nobody. Just, go ahead and take the L on that one. And, that's something that young quarterbacks have to learn. The overthrown ball, just fundamental bad mechanics that ended up going overthrown and getting a return. And just a tough day, man. And lack of running game didn't help at all. Not being able to run the football. The defensive line dominating the offensive line, and the offensive line on the counterpart on the other side dominating us. You know, those guys won the trenches. They won the trenches. And in the second half, especially, they beat our behind. We just got out physical like crazy in the second half, man. And, you know, TJ's day trying to playing from behind and trying to force the ball and trying to hold some things and make plays happen. And that's to the detriment of a young quarterback. I don't care who you is, but no, he didn't have a good outing. For his second time, they got to see him. They game planned some things. They kept the ball in front of him. That was the game plan for Auburn, keep everything in front of him and definitely shut the run down and put the ball in his hands and force him to make plays, and he didn't. And we saw the outcome.
What about Max? First extended opportunity we got to see Max Johnson.
I thought Max looked poised, man. I thought Max looked good. I thought he ran things efficiently. He looked just as efficient and as calm as TJ did the week before. I was definitely impressed with, you know, his. I mean, I knew he could move around, so that wasn't a shock to me. But just the you could see the difference, or I'm not sure if it's a difference in because you know how he was getting the ball out, because most of his balls were touch throws. You know, you didn't see it jumping off his arm, but they was accurate. I thought he played well, man. I thought he came in for the circumstances and what was going on. It was definitely an audition for him. And, you know, that goes to the point sometimes I make with these guys and these young quarterbacks. You never know when your opportunity is going to come. It could come in a blowout such as it did for Max, and I think he performed well.
Well, I mean, look, I'll preface this question because everybody knows how I feel about T.J. Finley, and I'm awed by his talent. I think he's awesome. But I'm going to ask the question because I think it needs to be asked. Is it easier for Max to have gone in this situation understanding that the game – well, you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
So,
I mean, go ahead.
No, my feeling coming, you know, on Monday when we recap the game was, look, I don't know that you can really assess anything from that game. It was such a disaster. I mean, there were 4 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hurries, 7 tackles for loss. You ran for 1.2 yards a carry. It was just it was a disaster all the way around. It's hard for me to know, okay, like what good was really good and what bad was really, you know what I mean? Like how
Right.
It's almost like you just want to take that game and throw it away.
Well, I mean, you probably want to take it first one and now. I know I definitely get what you're saying because, you know, I can't remember if I've ever been in a game like that and going in those situations. I have to think about it. But I've gone in games and situations where probably wasn't that big of a blowout, but just going in mop-up duty. And this was mostly in New England. And when I did go in, of course, it's you're calmer, you're easier. It's it's either out of hand where we're winning, out of hand where we're losing by so much. They're just putting you in there to get some time, get some experience, see if you can run the operation, see if you can call the plays without fumbling your words. You know, that's what it's for. And that's why I think he did a good job. Just watching the operation when he was in there, watching the guys come in and out of the huddle, whether or not they was receiving the information, lining up correctly. He looked like he had, command of what they was calling. And none of them get it twisted. Now they want, exotic with what they were doing and motioning and all this because they were just trying to line up and play ball and see what he was going to do. So, it's a little easier.
The one game that I thought of was, and I don't remember the exact scenario, but 2000 when you all played Florida in Gainesville.
Yeah.
And that one got out of hand. If I'm not mistaken, Josh started and then you came in, correct?
Yep, correct.
So was that similar?
That was similar because we were getting out behind whoop.
Right.
So, yeah, that was similar.
All right, so
definitely similar. And it's a lot, when you go in at that time, if it's close, it's a boost. It boosts the offense. It boosts you, your manager. When it's a blowout, such as it was this past weekend for Max, all you want to do is go in and execute. And it's not like you're going in to do anything as far as like trying to bring them back or try to sustain a lead or anything like that. You're just going in to just show what you've been doing for the past few months.
Rohan Davey's with us. A couple more minutes. Did Saturday change your feeling about how they should handle the quarterback situation moving forward for the rest of the season?
What it did was it opened the door for Coach Ed Orgeron to play whoever he wants to if he wants to evaluate more or see if Miles gets healthier to play with the week off and all that. So it does, in a way, it just opens up more possibilities for Coach Ed Orgeron and that coaching staff to try to, again, see what they have with that position. If TJ would have went out, but if he would have went out and played like he did the week before, then I think we wouldn't have the question. But being that, it was TJ, but he didn't play well, but it wasn't just him. It was, like you said, it was all around.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it leaves it open for basically whatever he says or does going forward to not really have a question with what he does going forward because of the lackluster effort last week.
So if Miles is healthy and able to play against Bama, he plays against Bama, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
If he can't, if he can't, do you go and do the same thing you did before the South Carolina game, where you just have a competition the week of practice?
If he can't go, in my opinion, it depends on how they feel Max executed or did whatever it is that they were looking for from him. And when they evaluate TJ's play from the first half, because, it's always this way when you watch film and you watch the game. It always, like I said, the quarterback always gets a lot of blame, always gets a lot of the compliments as well. Mm-hmm. But when you watch the film and you dive into it a little bit more, such as the coaching staff will, you see was there a breakdown here? Was the receiver supposed to run this route, but this was ran? So then you really get into what really caused the play to break down. Ultimately, the quarterback has the ball in his hands at the end, and you have to make the correct decision with the football, correct. But once they get into it and break it down, and if they see that it was too many the mental mistakes is what's going to be the problem. If it was too many mental mistakes on his part that put the team in bad positions, put the offense in bad positions, then, that's going to be what comes to the forefront more than the physical things. So the physical things you can fix. But when it's the mental mistakes, those are the things that could get you beat. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like you said, it's an open competition going for that week, or based on the film and based on the mental and based on the grade, depending on what it is that, TJ's the guy, or Max gets to start this game. Whatever it may be. I wouldn't want Max to start going into Bama. If I was the coach, because TJ has started 2 games already going into Bama, I probably would lean towards that way just because of who we're facing. But at the same time, he has to see it. He has to see that heat sometimes, so might as well,
All right, last thing. Would it be better I guess, Ro, with respect to the Bama game, my thought is, okay, if you're not going to have Miles, and we don't know if you will, but if you're not going to have Miles, why wouldn't you identify your starter now and use 2 weeks to prepare that guy to be ready to roll?
Yeah, that's, you and I are on the same, you and I are on the same thinking when it comes to that. That's what I was going to say next. But if he's undecided, he's going to use the 2 weeks or at least use a week to evaluate. And to me, I'm with you. That's time that could be going in another direction to prepare that guy even more for that game.
He is Rohan Davey, joins us every Tuesday. You going to come to Don Juan after the Bama game?
Yeah.
All right.
You got it.
I'll see you then. We'll talk next week, man. We appreciate you as always.
Yes, sir, partner.
All right, man. That is former LSU quarterback Rohan Davey. We appreciate him for being here with us every Tuesday. Chat's brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. You tell, man, I think most people are ready to put this game to bed and move on to whatever's ahead. The unfortunate part is typically when you have a game like that, there's something you think that there's like something to be optimistic about moving forward. Like, hey, let's flush this one, and then you got like when you lose to Mississippi State, it's easy to flush it because you're looking at Vanderbilt and you go get your feel good. Looking at Bama, don't feel good because they're pretty good. All right, it's after further review. Let's knock out a break. We'll come back. A couple other things I want to touch on. Bowl projections are out. Remember, everybody's bowl eligible this year. So you still got LSU and bowl projections. They're a little bit all over the map, too. So a little bit of what people are thinking. We'll get to that. And how the Kwon Alexander situation affects the Saints salary cap. So some interesting numbers today. So We'll delve into that a little bit as we come back. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
It is fall planting season, y'all. Clegg's Nursery, buy local, shop local, getting down to 45 degrees tonight. You may not think it, but fall, winter, this is the time to plant trees and shrubs. So go to Clegg's. If you've been wanting to add that tree to your front yard, maybe for some shade, some shrubs to maybe provide a little privacy between you and a neighbor, whatever it may be, they've got it at Clegg's. They've got an awesome selection. And, of course, you're buying and supporting a great local business that's been around for 60 years. Not only that, the knowledge of their staff. I know most people say that, but they have horticulturists on staff. So it's not like you're going to a big box store. You're going to a local store where people who are passionate about plants and flowers and trees and shrubs and that industry and horticulture, they have all the answers for you. It's Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations. Buy local, shop local, tell them Matt sent you. To Clegg's Nursery.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a 2020 Camry LE with 0% for 6 years or for $22,890. Hurry in, they won't last long. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
When morning came to Louisiana, we were hopeful, not hibernating. We were mending fences, feeding neighbors, and holding our kids. When morning came to Louisiana, we were wide awake, planting seeds for next year's crops. We were stronger, ready for what's next. And together, as we build anew, Blue Cross stands ready to support you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family goals.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We're still improving. I thought we got better yesterday in a tough environment, but I do think there's a grit element and when you're able to play well in tight games and come out with a win, I think you develop a certain confidence and you're comfortable playing in overtime.
What is a grit? Sean Payton meeting with the media, talking about his team coming up their fourth consecutive win. No doubt on the verge of another playoff appearance. Hopefully it's the one that we've all been waiting for, where Saints get back to the big game and win it this time. And it may be easier because the competition committee is proposing a 16-team playoff scenario as a pandemic contingency. Remember, team owners have already approved a plan to expand the postseason. So typically you've had 6 teams from each conference, with the top 2 seeds each getting a bye. The new plan expands to 7 teams from each conference, with only the number 1 seed getting a bye. This contingency plan, which would have to be approved by the Players Association, would feature 8 teams from each conference if the regular season can't be completed, if there are games missed in the regular season. But the most important part of this, in my estimation anyway, is that it would eliminate the bye. The 1 would play the 8, the 2 would play the 7, the 3 would play the 6, the 4 would play the 5. Pretty standard. But you would eliminate the bye for the 1 seed. Now remember, the NFL is already in discussions about a playoff bubble. So home field advantage would really be irrelevant. And even in this year, where you don't have full stadiums, home field advantage is negligible anyway. So if this happens, regardless, I think the playoff bubble is massive if that happens anyway, because you're talking about completely negating the importance of seeding, aside from being the 1 seed where you'd get a bye. That would be the benefit, obviously. But home field advantage would be wholly irrelevant. It would really just be matchups at that point. But if this happens, if there are games missed in the regular season, which it looks like the NFL has planned for every contingency, they've already mixed it, they've already sort of reshuffled the deck a couple of times because of outbreaks, at New England and Tennessee, and they've made it work. But if you have another domino effect like that throughout November or December, you could be forced to move games, or maybe even lose a game if you're trying to stay on time. And if that happens, you expand the playoffs. The reason that would obviously be appealing to the NFL, if you're counting dollars, is it adds another game in the playoffs. 2, actually. I mean, you've already added another first-round game with the expansion to 14 in each conference. This would add another first-round playoff game because you wouldn't have the 1 seed having a bye. So you'd have 4 first-round games in each conference. You have 8 first-round games total. You're adding multiple TV windows. You're adding multiple revenues. So from the NFL's perspective, it makes a lot of sense. You'd be generating more revenue. From a competitive standpoint, it would really negate the importance of being the 1 seed. And I bring that up because the Saints find themselves right now behind Seattle and Green Bay and just ahead of Tampa in the loss column by virtue of their tiebreaker, having beaten Tampa. And that could change this weekend if the Saints lose on Sunday Night Football. But back to the point, it's all moot if this playoff format is adopted and really if they play in a bubble. So file that away. It's not completely relevant as of yet, but could very much be. But it's after further review. I want to get in some bowl projections here in just a quick second. Let me remind you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138, and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. If you were in any of the areas impacted by Hurricane Laura or Delta or Zeta, of course, our friends at Relief Windows can help. If you need to replace energy-efficient replacement windows, if you need beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, or vinyl siding, our friends at Relief Windows can help you out. 288-8138, 288-8138, ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door, siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Okay, so I like scouring all of the bowl projections. Not that they really matter at this point, but you know what it is that I am lobbying for with regards to LSU's bowl destination. I have no interest in seeing LSU in the Music City Bowl. I've got no interest in 10 a.m. in Tampa in the Outback Bowl. I really don't care about seeing LSU go back to Houston to play in the Texas Bowl. I want the Vegas Bowl.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
I want to see LSU against a Pac-12 opponent in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
If ever there was a bowl game that married perfectly to a fan base, it is LSU fans going to the Las Vegas Strip.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Party Central, you know what I mean. Like, LSU fans go everywhere, and they take over, and they drink towns dry. The one place on God's green earth where that could not happen, theoretically, would be
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
So I have some unfortunate news. I looked at the USA Today Bowl projections. Alabama in the sugar part of the playoff. Got Texas A&M in the cotton, Florida in the peach, Georgia in the orange, yada yada. South Carolina in the gator. Got Ole Miss in the Birmingham Bowl, Auburn in the Citrus Bowl, Arkansas in the Liberty Bowl, Mizzou in the Texas Bowl. I'm checking off, right? I'm like, wow. Huh? Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. Kentucky, who they previously had playing Cal in the Las Vegas Bowl, they now have in the Montgomery Bowl. So I'm like, LSU? Vegas? They got LSU playing Purdue in the Outback Bowl. Mind you, this is after LSU just got skull-drugged by Auburn. They've still got them in the Outback Bowl, okay? So my point being, while you may have preconceived notions about bowl pecking order, after you get past the Citrus, they're all viewed the same now. And the league plays matchmaker to find where they think they can get the best matchups, where fans would be excited to go, etc. Sorry, Vandy and Mississippi State, you're not going to be in a bowl game this year. They don't have the Las Vegas Bowl on the sheet. They're anticipating the Las Vegas Bowl might be one that gets canned. Now, I know, right, Muse? Like how sad would that make me if the Las Vegas Bowl actually is one of the ones that gets canned? Like the Fenway Bowl got canned. Sorry, Muse. But here's the crazy thing. So I saw this and I'm like, wait a minute. So I start searching, right? Like, has Las Vegas Bowl been canceled? I didn't see anything. You see nothing? You didn't see anything at this point?
Nothing.
There hasn't been anything yet about the Las Vegas Bowl being canceled. As a matter of fact, so I went, well, let me go look at ESPN's bowl projections. And I'll be darned, ESPN has Utah playing Missouri, Bonagura, and then Schleybaugh has Utah playing Ole Miss in the Las Vegas Bowl. So I'm like, wait a minute. Then I remember this is the publication, USA Today, that employs Christine Brennan and Dan Wolken. So I'm not going to pay attention to their bowl projections anymore. I'd rather not pay attention to anything they do anymore. That rag has no credibility in my brain. So I'm going to stick with ESPN's, who is still projecting the Las Vegas Bowl to happen.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
But they've got Missouri and Ole Miss projected there. And I don't like that at all. Muse, am I on an island by myself here?
No, I think it'd be awesome.
Okay, so why aren't more LSU fans flooding the Las Vegas Bowl's Twitter? Like, wouldn't you rather LSU Utah at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas,
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
over LSU Purdue in Tampa at 10 a.m. on New Year's Day?
Yes, I would 100% rather that.
How is this even a thing?
I don't know.
Let us collectively flood the Las Vegas Bowl and the SEC office on Twitter and social media and everywhere, begging for this matchup. What more
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
What more do I have to do, Muse?
I don't know. You've used the platform every single Tuesday to get the message out, and it's just not being received for some reason. I don't think people all of a sudden started hating fun.
What if I bribe people? Like, what if I go get a whole bunch of gift cards? I'm like, hey, if you tweet the Las Vegas Bowl, you'll be entered to win a gift card.
That always works.
Restaurant Week's going on right now in Baton Rouge. I was talking to Chris Brooks earlier about it. Maybe he's like, I'm up to my eyeballs in gift cards. I'm like, well, let's give away some gift cards. Maybe we can do that. I need this. I need this Vegas Bowl thing to happen.
Be great remotes.
That's what I'm talking about. And we certainly need people to be back in studio to tech them.
That's what I'm here for.
I know, Muse. I know.
Just bring me a T-shirt back. We're even.
We've all in this business. We've all lived that life, brother. All right. Vegas.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Speaking of which, someone who loves Las Vegas and betting on anything. I mean, if he could get action on a cockroach race, he'd get it. Jimmy Ott. He joins us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana, title sponsor of our Tuesday shows all throughout the year. Better coverage, less money. I tell you about it every day. It's not just lip service. Call Insurance Network of Louisiana. Let them independently shop to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. AFR listener named John. I got this one from Adam. AFR listener named John. He and his wife had been with Liberty Mutual since 2007. They were able to increase their auto coverage, added an umbrella, $1 million umbrella policy, $200K in auto insurance, wrote their homeowners as well, and saved them $4,600 a year. Understand what I just told you. They added $1.2 million in coverage, saved $4,600 a year. Stop overpaying to be underinsured. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop to see if they can get you better coverage for less money for free. 293-0450.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who, without being asked, shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community? We believe that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust.
So, if you know someone that sounds like what Jordy was just describing, nominate them to be your good citizen, and they'll have a chance to win $500 from Citizens Bank and Trust. Plus, we'll mention him right here on the show. So go to citizensbankandtrust.com for more details and nominate your good citizen.
I'm feeling good. I just thought you should know.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Started making beer at home and immediately fell in love with it. After like the day of my first batch of brewing, I was already thinking, can I do this for a living?
Oh yeah, obsessed with it. He was totally consumed by it, and then looked at me one day and told me I was put on this earth to brew beer. And I was like, wow, that is such a bold statement. And if you can say that about anything, then you need to follow your dream and do it.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a 2020 Highlander for $4,500 off MSRP. That's right, $4,500 off MSRP. Hurry in!
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. As always, we wrap up with a little Otter Locks. Jimmy Ott joins us. Otter, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing, Matthew?
Doing really well, man. You got action on the presidential election tonight?
No, I do not. No, I do not.
I saw.
But I will be following it closely as far as the odds tracker, and that's what I've been doing. And I'll go back to March because 4 years ago, this was an in-game. I mean, you talk about a turn. No matter who you're pulling for and things like that. I mean, as far as odds concerned, that's a monumental night 4 years ago, going from 7-1 to play. I mean, just with every state that came in, it was just shifting the odds. And you want to know the odds right now? It is actually going from, it's currently right now Joe Biden minus 250, Trump plus 188. So the percentages that equates into is basically 2-1, 67% to 33%. So roughly right at it. Just kind of today it's been really, really calm now. Last night in London, there was $1 million bet put on Biden, but then a $5 million bet put on Trump between 11 p.m. and midnight.
What are these people doing?
Yes. Oh no, this is beating some World Cup records in London,
crazy.
In the UK as far as their handle.
Otter,
yeah,
I saw a prop bet today if Melania would divorce Trump if he lost.
So would Tracy Hannegriff. So anyway, I sent poor Charlie a well wish tonight. So anyway, but here is a little bit of it. This is today. Okay, this is today, 8 a.m. This is Trump's percentage, 38%. 9 a.m., 36%. Back to 38 at 10 a.m. 33 for a couple hours. The midday, 32 for all the way till 5 until just now at 5:15. He's going up to 33%. So that's his percentages of winning tonight based on the odds. So really hold until he gets some of the first results.
Are you already playing all your Maction bets for tomorrow?
No, I'm going to look at them tomorrow. Though. We're looking into it.
Right.
The Buffalo Bulls are the team to beat in the East, and the West is way more balanced. So it's a little thumbnail, but don't you worry for Autolocks. We're going to have some action. Don't you worry.
I will look forward to it. Hey, before you run, I did ask you. By the way, where are you tonight?
Mike Anderson's. It is Restaurant Week times 2 because they didn't do one in the spring. They're going to do it for 2 weeks. So today for the next 2 weeks, and guess what's on the restaurant week? The Burnside salad.
The salad that I mispronounced the name or couldn't remember the name of. But it's phenomenal, man. Get the shrimp.
It's the blackened shrimp with a fresh spinach, blue cheese, tomatoes, purple onions, spicy pepper. The whole good. It's really good stuff. So it's Spicer Night over here at Mike Anderson's, and so we're watching you on the TV right now, Matthew. So there you go. Like that nice picture of me with a hair. So anyway.
All right. Before you go, I did ask you yesterday what you thought the LSU Bama line would be. You've had time now to do to crunch the numbers. What say you?
You blindsided me a little bit yesterday, and I said we're about 21, and that's right where it's going to be. It's going to be 21. I anticipate Alabama getting some action. They do, and they've been covering. I mean, they covered against Tennessee, covered against Mississippi State, and, LSU, the way they look, it's just going to be that way. Mac Jones is also prohibitive favorite now to win the Heisman Trophy. Justin Fields is in second place. Trevor Lawrence is falling back to 4-1 with him being out for COVID. And one other thing, y'all got to look back at your angles last night, too. And I use this a lot in college football. Not so much the NFL, but it applied last night. The only way I could find an angle for the Giants, maybe the Giants, the Bucs looking ahead after, the Packers and the Raiders, kind of high-profile games. Man, they were definitely looking ahead a little flat in the first half before they got into gear and allowed the Giants to cover easily.
They just stink.
For the Giants, yeah, they do. Danny Dimes, they say it's done. They're calling for a move.
No. The Patriots or the Bucs stink. They only beat the Giants by 2. They stink, Otter.
At least they don't stink. They're really good.
I'm trying to convince myself of that before Sunday night. All right,
Okay.
Otter. Have a great show, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Matthew.
All righty, that is Jimmy Ott. Game time with Jimmy Ott. follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, you can stream it at 1045ESPN.com or on the 1045 app, or watch it on the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook channel. I did everything I was supposed to. Oh, good. Let me remind you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, title sponsor of our Tuesday shows all throughout the year. We appreciate that. Before we get out of here, I will leave you with this one little tidbit. Probably what I'll start the show with mañana. But I love this quote. It's my favorite quote with regards to anything political. Barbara Bush, her quote is, your success as a family, our success as a society, depends not on what happens in the White House, but on what happens in your house. Keep that top of mind, y'all. We'll elect a new president today, and whatever happens, the sun will come up tomorrow, and our union will continue as it has for nearly 300 years. So let's focus on the things we have in common instead of being really bitter about the things we disagree on. All right, Muso, what did you learn today?
I learned that Larry Holder thinks his fence is more important than AFR.
So Larry was tardy from his 3:30 slot because he had a fence guy come into the house. And I'm like, do you really? I asked him, like, do you really need to interact with the fence guy? Like, can't he just come by, see it, and then
Look at
like
the fence, dude.
send you a quote? I mean, do you really need to be there to supervise? I mean, the guy's a pro. He knows what he's doing, right?
You'd hope.
Whatever. Paulie, what did you learn?
I learned Jennifer Doty has a rather lengthy contact list.
How about that? Caden Braden Doty's mom, 457?
457.
That was what I was going to learn, was 457 names of SEC baseball parents on the list, on the letter that they sent to the commissioner.
So what did you learn?
That was what I learned. Okay. But so I guess Paul and I share it there. Anyway, Rohan still can't censor himself on air. How about that? Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Remember, Thursday, today's Tuesday, we're 2 days away. Thursday, Christmas in November. This Thursday, like in 2 days, Christmas in November. The absolute best prices of the year. 1 day only. So many people go to take advantage of these 1 day only specials. They buy now and then use it, keep it in their account throughout the year, give it as gifts, whatever it may be. If it's Botox or body contouring or fillers or liposuction or hormone replacement therapy, there's so much more. Like everything, the best 1 day specials of the entire year. And the event's really cool as well. They have live music. They have amazing catered food, beer, champagne, wine. It's all complimentary. Come out, meet the staff, see the facility. Blue Bonnet right near Perkins this Thursday, Christmas in November. TheAntiAgingClinics.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving